from physically and emotionally, that never would have happened, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's just like we move into this more removed conversation about a figure who was dead before we were born, right? And I walk over into this conversation from an actual victim of that drug war that took place in many ways. Now, there's obviously lots of surrounding circumstances and variables, but I think it's a fair connection. And he made that connection for me, right? You know, he described himself, he didn't use the word victim, but, you know, this tragedy was a consequence of the American drug war.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, and it shows you that Anslinger's legacy, just to use that as an example, Anslinger's legacy is still front and center.
Yeah.
And maybe history does matter.
Okay, nice.
Things have consequences.
Yeah. I mean, history definitely, I think all of these things matter, and I think like building that understanding is really important. But just as a contrast to that conspiracy conversation we were having for a while there, remembering to take some kind of meaningful action in your own life, even if it is just, you know, I've seen like you turn more recently into like, these are the things that I'm doing that help myself.
Yes.
You know, you said I think it was in an interaction yesterday with Nick that I was watching, right? But that's something that you're kind of building into your online persona and your brand as well.
Yeah. I'm actually planning on rolling out a second podcast. Not that I'm retiring the Dangerous History podcast by any means, but yeah, it's actually, I'm going to try and get it live by the end of the summer if I can. And it's going to be more focused on that because I've brought those sorts of things up on my show in various ways off and on since the beginning. But I feel like that kind of stuff deserves its own RSS feed and all that goes with it.
Yeah.
Because the Dangerous History podcast, I want to keep it more tied in with history, you know, and in a way it's sort of like how Dan Carlin, I don't think he's done his current events podcast much lately, but
no.
You know how he did a current events podcast and his history show. That way, the history show could just be the history show.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, I'm more interested in that, and it's sort of, you know, parallel to the trajectory that your show has gone on over the long term of like, you start off with like, here's all the exquisite details of the problems, and then move on to the solution. I mean, I'm gonna still be doing both simultaneously, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely have been more and more over time coming around to that point of view that it's more effective. That the most important thing is like, I don't worry anymore about like fixing these big corrupt institutions. I don't waste a whole lot of mental energy. I like to research them and teach people about them because, number one, I have fun doing it. I think it's interesting, and like I want to sit there and read a deep, dark book about Harry Anslinger or whatever. Even if I wasn't doing a presentation, that's something I'd be interested in.
It's enrichment. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And that, you know, people will learn and hopefully they'll think more critically just in general about current events and history and all that. But that I'm not under any delusion that like my podcast is contributing to saving the world and, you know, creating a more humane and free tomorrow. Not really. Not in any real measurable sort of way, other than maybe freeing individuals in terms of their thinking. And that's a good thing. And I'm happy to do that. And when I hear about people that, you know, I've kind of inspired them or whatever to think more critically about things, it's great. But I'm not sitting around going like, oh, if we could just abolish the CIA or abolish this or abolish that. And so, yeah, now I'm more on your direct circle of control, you know, bottom up sort of a thing, individual up, not expecting these institutions to fix things. And so, yeah, I mean, I've long since thrown in the towel on being real worked up about like politics and all that crap. I think it's much more important to focus on yourself and, you know, your immediate surroundings and family and all that stuff, and yeah, improving yourself.
Yeah, and in the meantime, you know, it is still a service for other people with what you do with Dangerous History, right? Because, you know, I'm always reminded, and it's one of the things that motivated me in the beginning and motivates me continuously. You know, Harry Brown said at some point long ago, if you have something to say, you know, make sure you say it. Make sure you say it to as many people as you can.
Yes.
Because you don't know how.
You're 6 minutes away from a live episode of Free Talk Live. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,414, silver at $15.37, and Bitcoin is trading at $10,871. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, U.S. President Donald Trump on Sunday told unidentified Democratic congresswomen to go back where they came from, prompting senior members of the party to brand him a racist and a xenophobe. It is the latest controversial comment by Trump, who last year reportedly referred to countries in Africa as S-hole nations, and who has spoken of an invasion of undocumented migrants. In a tweet, the anti-media reports that Trump referred to progressive Democrat congresswomen, which appeared to be a reference to a group of outspoken, relatively young, liberal women, all first-time members of the House of Representatives. They include Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib of Michigan, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York. Trump did not say whom he was referring to, but said they, quote, originally came from countries whose governments are a complete and total catastrophe, the worst, most corrupt, and inept anywhere in the world, end quote. He accused the women of viciously telling the people of the United States, quote, the greatest and most powerful nation on earth, how our government is to be run, end quote. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A 69-year-old activist was shot and killed by police outside of a detention center in Tacoma, Washington. Willem Van Spronsen was reportedly armed with a rifle while throwing incendiary devices at the immigration prison when he was shot and killed last week. The Mind Unleashed reports that police say Spronsen set a vehicle on fire and was attempting to ignite a propane tank next to one of the buildings. Police spokesman Loretta Kuhl told Como News that all four officers on the scene fired their weapons, killing Spronsen almost immediately. Kuhl did not say that Spronsen fired on the officers, only that the officers called out to him before opening fire. The incident occurred roughly 6 hours after a peaceful demonstration took place in front of the same facility. Another rally was scheduled to take place after the shooting, but was later moved to a different location. Geo Group, who owns the detention center, blamed the media for the shooting in an email to the Associated Press. NATO, on Friday, said it was concerned by Turkey's acquisition of Russia's S-400 missile defense system, after Ankara took delivery of its first batch. That's according to AFP. The anti-media is reporting the alliance has repeatedly warned Turkey that the Russian system is incompatible with other NATO weapon systems, not least the F-35 fighter jet. The United States fears that if NATO member Turkey integrates the S-400 into its defenses, there's a risk that sensitive data about the F-35, a new generation multi-role stealth fighter, could leak back to the Russians. President Donald Trump's pick for Pentagon chief, Mark Esper, confronted the Turkish defense minister about the deal on the sidelines of a NATO meeting last month. Washington has threatened to expel Turkey from its F-35 program, giving Ankara until July 31st to cancel the S-400 purchase or have its pilots kicked off the training course and expelled from the U.S. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A report released Tuesday by physicists at Stanford University revealed that the entire known universe, from the whole of human civilization to the totality of matter and energy, is actually the fictional setting of a cop show called Hard Case. According to authors of the report, existence as we know it was created solely to provide the framework for the primetime drama that airs weekly in a parallel universe, and that every historical event prior to the show's September 2008 pilot, including the Renaissance, World War II, evolution, the September 11th attacks, and the presidential administrations of Washington through Clinton, never actually happened and are merely part of the elaborate backstory crafted by Hard Case creator and showrunner Dominic Egan.
We used to believe that our universe operated under immutable laws of thermodynamics and gravitational relativity, but now we know everything just comes from the minds of Hard Case's 12 staff writers. Overall, it seems like a very well-written show.
Physicists have theorized that the universe as we know it will cease to exist whenever Hard Case airs its final episode.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Take control of the airwaves. Tell us whatever is on your mind. 855-450-3733. Again, that's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Michael,
and Mark.
And I'm wondering what people think about what they call manspreading, which evidently is this, whether perceived or real, tendency of men to take up more space in public, particularly while seated, than women.
I think that a man can manspread in private too. It's just that it's less irritating for those that are irritated by this. And I get it. I mean, like, if somebody's taking up more than one seat on the subway or whatever, that's going to be irritating, right? That's going to be annoying.
I mean, beyond irritating, especially if you're stuck standing because some inconsiderate jerk is sitting there taking up as much space as humanly possible.
I think that, let's see if I remember correctly, some pregnant lady is trying to pass legislation or something that, has like pregnant-only seats on the bus or the subway or something like that, which I find to be kind of
sexist.
Interesting. If what it says to me is that this person doesn't have the guts to say, "I'm pregnant, I'd like not to stand," right? And I don't know what it would be like for everybody else, but were I to speak her language and understand what she said, I'm saying this because I've been in New York City and been on the subway, and I'm not sure that half of the people on the cart spoke English. So, but anyway, if I understood what she said, I would, yes, ma'am, right here. You can have this seat. I'd give it to her right off because I wouldn't have even.
That's just what you do. You be considerate to people.
Sure, being pregnant it's uncomfortable to stand. Well,
I mean, it's not exactly comfortable to stand in any situation.
Sure.
But I imagine if you're carrying around all of that extra weight, it's got that added level of discomfort.
Yeah, there's some bloating that goes with it too. The feet get.
I imagine it's true of anyone, male or female, however, that if they were to encounter some pregnant person on the subway who asked them for their seat, most people would gladly give that seat up for the pregnant person, regardless of the sex of the person who is sitting, right?
Right.
But then again, I don't know. There's that whole aspect of third-wave feminism where chivalry is dead because women killed it, essentially, and where the guy may very well respond, no, you wanted equal rights. Well, a man is standing there, so stand with him.
Yeah, I think I personally am not of that opinion. If somebody wants to be all equal rights or something, then I might have a conversation with them about that. But I would not force upon a woman my vision of equal rights because she was a woman.
Sure.
I think that largely feminism does not represent the wishes of the majority of women, at least in America. I have no idea what it's like in Great Britain. I've never been there and don't really care. But I wouldn't be of that opinion. I mean, I can get it if somebody says it. it can be funny on the internet or whatever. You wanted equal rights. But, I wouldn't do that in real life because the vast majority of women don't want whatever the hell feminists are talking about.
Right.
And
there's also the issue of
the most recent episode of trotting out, hey, ladies, let's not have sex with our men until they solve this problem or that problem, right? Like that, you're constantly seeing this, which is, to me, nothing but a clawing attempt by a bunch of lesbians to get women to stop having sex with men. So that I presume they will be more likely to have sex with women.
I can't say I disagree.
Hey, we don't like men, so you shouldn't have sex with them.
That's definitely one of the areas that this third wave of feminism gets wrong. I mean, you can have equality without having congruence. I mean, that's one of the first things we learned during basic high school geometry is that there's a difference between something that is equal and something that is congruent. Congruent, for all intents and purposes, means identical.
Yeah.
Well, men and women aren't identical.
Right. Equal doesn't mean the same.
Right.
And you can, for instance, it's even easier than geometry. You can just look at a math problem, right? 2 + 2 is equal to 3 + 1.
Yep. There you go.
And
they are equal, but they're not identical.
the same.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But I mean, this is just this whole thing. Let's go on here as far as the story because I think it's great.
Yeah. So speaking of manspreading,
yeah,
evidently a woman seems to be,
of course it is,
out of the can't argue with that.
Yep.
Has designed a chair that forces its male occupants to sit with their legs closed.
Yeah.
Now as a trans person, this raises a lot of interesting questions for me. Which way do I get to sit in the chair? Right.
Well, as I understand it, especially in Great Britain, they have a phenomenon called TERFs. Are you familiar with TERFs?
We have them. Yes, we have them here. That's trans exclusionary radical feminists.
Right.
We have them here in the United States as well.
As a matter of fact, not too long ago, I think it was the Heritage Foundation had some TERFs come speak. It was a conservative organization. I don't know which one. I thought it was the Heritage. Maybe I'm right. It's just coming from memory. So they said they had some TERFs come speak, these trans exclusionary radical feminists, and the ladies and the conservatives agreed.
I am not surprised.
And the agreement is that you're the gender that you were born. And this is interesting. When the feminists and the conservatives are agreeing, what does that mean? I don't know. I mean, they didn't summon a demon from what I could tell.
Yeah, it seems like a sign of the coming apocalypse, I would have to say.
So that's all very interesting. I am of the opinion that that identity politics is self-destructive.
Oh, absolutely.
That this is part of the whole problem, is that on one hand, the trans folks have their little list of grievances, and on the other hand, the feminists have their list of grievances, and then the people of color have their lists of grievances, and all those grievances are the most important grievances.
Yes, that's why they're always at each other's throats.
Right. And they cannot get along because in some cases the grievances grieve each other. So, you have the liberals wanting to welcome the Muslims, but the Muslims are like, hey, you're gay folks and you're feminists and, all these things. We just can't live with that part. And, well, that's always funny to me. I like this.
I would agree.
Yeah. As a trans person.
How did that even happen?
What's that?
The liberals
bedfellows?
the Muslims and the Muslims saying...
Well, they're minorities here in the United States, and that's all that matters to the liberals. They are chess pieces to be moved around on a board.
Now, not in the case of Muslims. Muslims used to be dyed-in-the-wool Republicans, all of them. Then 9/11 happened. The Republicans lost their minds.
Yes, they did.
And then Muslims are like, whoa, like Republicans are saying, let's make it so Muslims can't have mosques in too close to where they blew up the towers because Muslims and towers, whatever the hell they're yicking and yakking about. Right. And surprise, people who feel excluded by you no longer want to vote for you. And, basically, come 9/11, the Republican Party became the party of old white people because they alienated the Mexicans who voted by and large for George Bush, and they alienated the Muslims who by and large voted for George Bush and had voted for pretty much Republicans all along. Muslims didn't have these ideas.
This is why we have the alt-right now, is because the Democrats took all of these quote, marginalized groups, all of these minorities at any rate, and it put them into a group. And that left the older white men standing around going, well, everyone else is banding together to acquire political power over us. We have to band together as well. And the people who were like, okay, well, we're all white, we're all cis dudes, we're all straight, let's band together on that basis. And then suddenly you have the rise of the alt-right, Donald Trump calling Mexicans drug dealers and rapists, doing all the things that Donald Trump, does.
So I'm of the opinion that the Muslims didn't want to go to the Democrats because they liked the Democrats. They went to the Democrats because they had no place else to go.
Sure.
And that if Republicans could figure out how to be more inclusive without being, basically, you don't compromise your principles on economics or anything like that. Of course, Republicans are just lying about their principles on economics.
Just stop being bigots?
Right, basically.
Well, that's the issue. Nobody would believe them now if they were to do that. Because
I think it would take a generation to undo it.
855-450-3733. Let us know what you think about manspreading and the whole divisiveness culture being peddled across the world. 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE as in freedom.
And not to mention the shedding, I would vacuum the carpet 3 times a week. Frodo was scratching all night long, bouncing on the side of the bed, keeping me awake the whole entire night from all the scratching and chewing. It kind of makes you neurotic.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy?
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Dinovite is nutrition.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
He gobbles it up. He's not up all night scratching. His shedding is minimal, and it is such a pleasure to have my calm, relaxed, non-shedding puppy back. And I have to thank Dinovite for that.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar. That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest-running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, you know, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com. Advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
There are basically 2 types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio is great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. That number is 855-450-3733. Again, that's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Michael,
and Mark. I want to tell you about Bitcoin.com. Bitcoin.com is, well, it's the place to go to find out about cryptocurrency. It looks like cryptocurrency's gotten volatile again. People are making money in it. So, you'll probably be hearing more. I know you've heard that Bitcoin was dead, and I know you've heard that multiple times. So here we are. It's risen again. Go to Bitcoin.com because you can get the best news. You can get started. They have the Get Started link right there at the top. You can learn about Bitcoin Cash and cryptocurrencies and all the things you need to know. Get a wallet. Get some, actually, once you get the wallet, you can actually get a little free crypto to get started with, and you can buy cryptocurrencies and those sorts of things. And they have a new program they've rolled out called local.bitcoin.com. Aria, you've had some success with this.
I am in love with it. Local.bitcoin.com is probably the best thing to ever happen to me.
It's allowed you to start your own little cottage industry.
Yeah, I just happen to be at the right place at the right time, really, and with the right idea for people who are interested in that idea. It's a great exchange. It's private. It's secure. It has a very low threshold of scammers. You go to that other site, and probably 50% of the people I've encountered were scammers versus local.bitcoin.com, where it's extraordinarily rare. And they get weeded out eventually. I've had to file disputes with various traders, and the arbitrators were fair and reasonable and quick to respond, but fair, so they weren't just going to make a rash decision. The whole thing is just awesome. I would highly recommend people check it out.
Local.bitcoin.com. That's the new project.
And we've been talking about manspreading and the divisive culture among the left in general.
Yeah, I remember when I had never heard the term manspreading. Those were the good old days. Now I know all about this stuff. Manspreading, mansplaining, stuff.
I'm more familiar with mansplaining than manspreading. I mean, I know what manspreading is, but as far as various issues throughout the world, mansplaining is the one that I hear brought up more frequently. To the extent where if you're a man, you can't say anything.
Right. Well, that's basically what it comes down to is that it's a way to say, shut up. I don't like who you are in the world. It's identity politics all over again. But the term has parlance, and it's probably because some guy is trying to explain something on a pretty regular basis to some gal, and they don't like it.
Well, who likes to be told that they're wrong?
Let me explain what
something?
mansplaining is, because then we'll have a meta mansplain. It'll be a man mansplaining. Okay. So mansplaining is when a man explains to a woman what is the truth about a particular issue. Especially,
I love how weighted that definition was.
Isn't that what it is?
I would say mansplaining is a man explaining to a woman his opinion on a particular subject
that she already knows about.
I don't have an opinion.
May or may not
I don't
know
have
about.
opinions. I have. I know the truth.
Okay.
I mean,
well,
seriously.
I can't argue with that level of conviction.
Right. Like, here's a little piece of truth. Here's a little mansplaining for you.
Yeah, you successfully mansplained me.
Yeah, I got no problem with it. Yeah, mansplaining is just another sort of terminology in the feminist war book where this idea that men and women should be equal, viewed equally under the law, which is like almost nobody disagrees with.
Right.
Is somehow perverted into all men are bad and need to be sorry for what they have done.
Well, we've seen this repeatedly, and I think it's just human nature that, okay, so sure, in the past, men did some screwed up things toward women. Sure. Okay.
If we want to explain it that way, yes. But men have done some screwed up things towards men, too.
Sure.
Screwed up things have and will continue to occur, have occurred and will continue to.
Right. But women, they campaigned for equality and then largely achieved equality and then realized, you know what, this isn't enough. We have to actually seek out vengeance. We have to avenge our mothers or whatever. We see it in the LGBT community as well.
Can you explain some of the vengeance to me?
Well, they want the political power. They want men to shut up. They want men to be forced to sit in uncomfortable chairs on the subway. They want men to be the ones who are having to stand, sit in the back of the bus, so to speak, while the women get to sit at the front.
But women have generally had chairs. I mean,
sure.
men have done a reasonably good job in this life of making sure that women had places to sit and doors that they couldn't opened for them.
But those
now the funny part
came with very high costs.
To me, the funny part is,
I mean, women have only been able to vote for less than a century.
Sure. But you say that, but at the same time, how many households are men and women voting differently?
I don't know whether or not that's
just make a guess.
Relevant.
It sure it is, because in every household that women existed, they couldn't vote. So all the households, all the women couldn't vote.
Right.
So presumably there was about one vote per household, and it was had by the men. In most households that I'm familiar with,
well, and their
the men and women,
18-year-old son.
Right, their 18-year-old son was that so in the early 1900s? No, it would have been their 21-year-old son.
Okay.
So the 18-year-olds didn't get the vote until the 1960s.
Okay.
So, and I mean, at one point it was landowners too, but the early Democrats under like Jackson, very early Democrats wanted people who didn't own land to be able to vote, and that's fine, whatever. But what I'm saying is that the majority of households, people vote the same way in the household. So giving everybody in the household, just everybody in every household a vote, just really largely increases the number of votes, not the changing the outcome very much. Now,
I would agree in a lot of cases, and I realized that a lot of things were happening during the 20th century simultaneously, like Rosie the Riveter women going out into the workforce, acquiring jobs, securing their own way in the world. So for the most part, throughout this history, women just didn't have the capabilities because of all sorts of social forces that were not exclusively the fault of men. They didn't have the capability to go out and get their jobs and be single women making their way in the world like they do now.
Sure.
If they had existed in that time, those 25-year-old women being secretaries or whatever would not have been allowed to vote.
Correct. 25-year-old women being secretaries would not have been able to vote. But prior to the women's suffrage movement, there weren't a lot of 25-year-old single women secretaries. So,
and I don't know if that's really the fault of men or not. I just know that the way it was written, it was the men were allowed to vote. It's like it wasn't one household per vote. It was the man of the household got a vote.
Correct. And the presumption here is that the men and women in the household didn't talk about politics, and I don't think that's true. Maybe if women wanted to talk about politics, they probably talked with their husbands about it, and presumably if they had a good relationship, what I would call a healthy relationship, the man took that in consideration, probably changed his mind, and his vote went a different direction. Or maybe that was his feeling on it, all along. I have no idea, but I don't think that the women's suffrage movement really did that much for women. It did a lot for throwing people in jail for alcohol, right? Like, let's not forget that the women's suffrage movement was very closely related with prohibition. Like, these two things are totally together.
Interesting.
Women wanted to be able to vote, and for men not to drink.
We have to get further into that because I'm not aware of the connection there. I don't dispute you or anything like that. I just want to learn more about it. So let's get into that. If you have thoughts on the subject, let us know this. 855-450-3733. Again, that's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom, or use the Discord calling lines, which you can find at discord.lrn.fm.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite for life.
Pick up 2 tubes of Dogosuds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Dogosud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Dogosuds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? 1? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com. And it's a place you can send any business. And they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. helpmetakebitcoin.com.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit shiresociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Take control of the airwaves, 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria,
Michael,
and Mark.
And we've been talking about feminism and the perils of feminism throughout the last several decades at least. But Mark insists that, he hasn't insisted yet because nobody's disagreed with him, but he's saying that, the women's suffrage movement was largely tied to prohibition.
And is that what you would call first wave feminism, the suffrage movement and, that kind of thing?
Yes.
Ladies getting out of the workforce?
Well, I'm not sure. I just know that third wave feminism is where you'll find the TERFs and the whole mansplaining and manspreading nonsense at. I don't know what defines first wave or second wave.
I'm not sure that I consider manspreading to be nonsense. I think that this may be one of the better complaints that they have. It just doesn't touch most women's lives because I think that the people that write feminist articles tend to be women who live in cities.
The thing about manspreading,
cities with public transportation
is that I have not heard about manspreading outside the context of the London Underground, the New York City subway, and things like that. And it's I've seen pictures of this. It's like a guy sits down and he spreads his legs so far he takes up 3 seats.
Yep. I've seen it.
That's a legitimate complaint.
I think it's a legit complaint. I think that because it's complaint about something that does not affect, right? It's projected out into the world as, see, men are a problem when the vast majority of us are not dealing with this. I sit in my own chairs most of my life, not in public transportation chairs, and so I don't really think about this at all. But if I was standing there, I'd be like, I'd just sit down. I say, excuse me, and I'd sit down. But then you've got the problem of somebody touching your leg that you don't want touching it, I guess.
Well, that's
for me not a problem.
Aggression.
I don't think it is, but
is it aggression?
I would technically, sure.
If I sit next to a guy,
if somebody touches me without my consent, they're committing aggression against me. It just depends upon the extent to which they've touched me.
Not if you go into a place where touching is expected. And
okay, fair.
So if if it's reasonable to presume when you sit next to a plane, next to a guy on a plane, that your 2 legs are going to touch.
Once in a while, yeah.
That happens. No. I mean, when I'm on a plane, I often find that my leg is just touching the other guy's leg, and you know what? It doesn't bother me. It's just it's a time and a place where 2 guys with pants on, their legs are touching. I don't think I'd be comfortable with it if we're both sitting in shorts. But since we both have pants on, whatever. I'll notice it. Huh, that's happening. Okay. And then I go on with life because I guess I think that men physically are more likely to do a little bit of spreading. I get it. Plus, socially, women have been told their whole lives, ladies, you must keep your legs together. Otherwise, he's going to try to find the promised land or whatever.
I can't weigh in on that. I was not raised as a little girl.
No.
So I don't know what little girls were taught.
No.
But I don't think this is an issue about sex at all. And I think making it an issue about sex or gender, however we wish to characterize it, is probably doing a disservice to the actual issue of people sitting down on the subway and spreading their legs too wide. Because now we have women who are doing it in retaliation. This is not fixing the problem.
No.
It's exacerbating it. Now you have both sexes doing it. So let's make it about, hey, don't be a jerk. Don't be inconsiderate of your fellow human beings, regardless of what's between your legs.
Yeah, I think that if, sometimes people just aren't paying attention. And that's okay. You just got to tell them, hey, I'd like to sit down or whatever. And then, oh, sure.
Is it possible for someone to take up 3 seats on a subway?
Yeah, what level of not paying attention is this?
Yeah.
I think some people put their gear on the subway seat or whatever, and they're not paying attention to. This is certainly something that women are just probably guilty of as men, if not more. And it's all you got to do is say, "I'd like to sit down."
If we're going to do this, let's talk about the overwhelming tendency of women to set their massive purses on the conveyor belts at checkouts in stores, preventing other people from putting their groceries, their purchases that they're attempting to make onto that conveyor belt.
Never experienced it.
You've never experienced that?
I don't go through a lot of... Yeah, my wife does my grocery shopping because I'm a sexist.
I have seen it probably... I don't know. Probably 90% of the time I see a middle-aged or above woman going through a checkout. She's going to slap her purse right there on the conveyor belt.
I don't see it because I go through the self-checkout.
Well, I do too because I'm antisocial. But those aren't offered everywhere. That's only Walmart, really.
Yeah. I don't like the self-checkout because when you get produce, you got to punch it in and all that stuff. I don't want to do that.
So men have to stand there holding their stuff because men... If somebody's going into Walmart to buy like 5 items, it's more than likely going to be a man. He's not going to stop to push around a stupid cart. He's either going to grab a handheld basket or he's just going to grab the items and lug them around the store.
Right.
A woman's not going to do that. So if somebody's going to be standing there holding their junk, waiting to be able to set it down, it's going to be a man. And if somebody's taking up more space than is necessary, it's going to be a woman with her stupid purse as she digs through the 40-pound bag looking for her debit card or her checkbook or whatever, like she didn't really know she was about to go into the store and needed to spend money.
You know those things are larger on the inside, right?
It's like a bag of holding.
I have one. I'm very well aware of that. Yes. You can fit a lot more into them than you would expect.
Yep.
But still, when I'm about to go into a store and I know I'm going to be spending money, I don't leave my money buried down at the bottom of my purse. I go, oh, I'm about to need this. I don't want to make the people behind me wait for 5 minutes while I dig through this black hole.
Well, that's just being considerate.
Yes, and if somebody's going to be inconsiderate at one of these checkouts, it's going to be a woman with her purse.
Okay.
So let's address that at the same time as we're addressing them.
But let's talk about the chair that this feminist has made.
Yeah, because we haven't gotten to that.
Because that's funny.
So, a feminist designer named Layla Laurel has unveiled an anti-manspreading chair that forces its male occupants to sit with their legs closed.
Wait, it forces the male occupants to sit with their... What does it do to female occupants?
Well, we'll get to that. Miss Laurel, 23, a University of Brighton graduate, created the... Now, she had to go to college to do this. And the chair does not look like it was designed by anybody above the age of 11. I mean, it looks uncomfortable. It looks more like a table than it does a chair.
It doesn't look like she spent a lot of time with like a lot of machinery or whatever.
No, it's got zero aesthetic appeal to it whatsoever.
I'd agree.
So she says, it seems like a universal issue. This is part of her final year project for college, by the way.
Oh, my.
I don't think it's an act of conscious sexism, but even sitting can be a political problem. Women are taught to take up less space in public. I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't know.
I would assume it is because I've never heard otherwise.
So women are taught to take up less space. I'm not sure what she means when she says that. I think women are taught to keep their legs closed because men specifically, will spend time trying to look up their skirts. And that's not being taught to take up less space. That's taught, modesty.
But it is by extension being taught to take up less space.
I understand, right? But that's what I'm saying. The result is that, but that's not what they're being taught. They're being taught modesty, not to take up less space. Like what she's saying here is that how come we're taught to take up less space? No, you're taught to modesty, and the result is taking up less space.
So
no one says that you can't eat enough to be 500 pounds. Will there be consequences, social consequences? Yes.
So let's attempt to describe this chair for people who aren't seeing it. It's triangular shaped, and it's angled from the back so that it's thinner at the front than it is at the back. As you would expect, it sort of has these bars or these ridges, these edges that force your legs, if you were to stupidly sit down on one of these,
if you chose to
together
sit in this thing,
rather than open. And it looks like it was made out of leftover bar stool remnants, and it has a back that probably goes up just to your lower middle back, and it looks like
it's luxurious 4 or 5 inches.
It looks like it's the most uncomfortable thing anyone could ever choose to sit on.
It is a torture device.
Modern torture device.
Yeah.
This is your modern Judas Cradle, in fact.
What is that?
Oh, I can't describe that on air.
We'll explain it here shortly.
855-450-3733.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state, until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
If you owe money to the IRS, you need to hear this. The IRS is cracking down on those who owe back taxes. It starts with a devastating letter, and if you don't act immediately, you could find yourself having your wages garnished or have a lien placed on your property. But there's a solution. Tax 10,000 can help. Avoid enforced compliance, where these holds on your income and seizure of your home could become a nightmare that just won't end. Call 800-239-9957 now and speak to one of our experts. 800-239-9957 is the number to link you directly to a tax resolution specialist who will negotiate with the IRS on your behalf. Working through the IRS Fresh Start program, all the forms will be handled for you. All you have to do is make the toll-free call. 800-239-9957. Find out if you qualify and and possibly save yourself thousands of dollars, not to mention a lot of headaches. It could be the best call you've made today. That number again, 800-239-9957. The service does not provide tax settlement or legal services. We will refer you to a company that does provide such services. Often the IRS will not agree to any reduction in the amount owed. Not all taxpayers who owe more than $10,000 will qualify for a tax reduction program.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Give us a call. Let us know what's on your mind. 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
Michael.
Oh, sorry.
I need audio here. And Mark. Hey, want to tell you about My Magic Mud. Right now, it's still Prime Day, Amazon Prime Day, Prime Days. I don't know what they're calling it now. It's more than one day, so I guess it's Prime Days. And you can save 50% off of My Magic Mud. So what is My Magic Mud? It is a black tooth powder that removes stains from your teeth. And, in my opinion, just makes them feel generally cleaner than toothpaste does. And I think it's a great product. I won't be without it. It's awesome. I've packed my stuff to go to Freedom Fest, including my Magic Mud regular toothpaste. I won't bring the black powder because I'm only going to be gone for 5 days. I could live without it for that long. But I am going to bring the toothpaste that they have. They have all kinds of options. There you go, mymagicmud.com. You can see the vast array of things they have. And they also sell them at Amazon. And right now, because it's Prime Days, you can save 50% off through, I guess it's about midnight today. It says July 15th, so I presume it's midnight today. And they're asking for reviews. So please, give them some positive reviews if you feel positively about the project. mymagicmud.com.
So the toothpaste, I'm gathering, is some sort of qualitatively different from ordinary toothpaste, but it isn't as, I guess, extensive as the powder stuff?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to sort of extend the value of the powder stuff. But, it's activated charcoal in the powder.
That's so amazing. I cannot imagine, what sort of spark in their heads had to have existed for them to go, let's take this bentonite or whatever it was.
Bentonite clay, yeah.
Yeah, and charcoal and clean our teeth with it and find it to be effective.
It was just a mom. It's Jessica Armand is her name. And she had some dental problems with her kids. They couldn't use certain products, and they're, of course, having, teeth issues and that kind of thing. So she came up with something to solve her problems at her house, and it worked so well, and she was so happy about it that she then went on and decided to market the product from there.
That is absolutely amazing. Well, we've been talking about things that women have invented that are not quite as amazing.
Right.
Number one among those lists is this chair that it just looks absolutely awful. I don't want to spend any more time describing it, but there is also the female version that has no railings on the side.
Right. So
but it's angled the opposite way.
Right. It's sort of a triangular shape. Well, it's really more of a quadrilateral, I guess. But it's what is it when maybe like a?
Well, if it finished off, it would be a triangle.
It would be.
But yeah it's
And
four-sided, not three.
They have in the men's case, it sort of funnels their legs down into a little makes them stick their little knees together. And whereas in the women's case, it forces them to spread, which is...
Well, that's the thing. It doesn't.
It doesn't?
No, there are no rails on the female version. Hold on.
What is that thing in the middle?
You are still correct. Well, yeah, there is the thing in the middle.
There's a little wedge that supposedly keeps their legs apart.
Let me put it this way then. There is a lot more room for maneuverability in the female chair than there is in the male chair.
Yes, you could sit on the female chair in easier ways, I guess. You could sit it sideways and it wouldn't be as much of a problem. But.
So what's to prevent a man from sitting in the so-called female chair?
Well, the wedge being there, I think the intention behind it is parts of his body preventing him from sitting there.
Oh, I see.
If spreading is bad behavior, and that's what I am to presume when we talk about it being manspreading, then why would you want to, as a feminist, incentivize women to spread?
Well, that's exactly it, because it's not about, actually freeing up space on the bus. It's not about allowing men and women to sit equally. It may have used to be about that, but what the goal here is to punish men, is to make men endure, and I use that word loosely, what women had to endure for the past several decades.
So this is the part that I just don't understand. Are these people that hate men, or are they these people that want to subjugate men, like they're weird dominatrixes, basically? Because that's where you have to have gone.
I would say it's probably both.
It sounds like a mix of both, possibly.
Because no man is going to buy this chair. The men that buy this chair deserve to be uncomfortable.
No one's buying this chair. This doesn't even solve the problem. You don't have manspreading in a random chair sitting in the studio here.
Right. If my legs were spread in too far here in this chair in this studio,
it wouldn't affect
no one
anyone.
Would care.
No,
this is a problem in public transit, on subways and buses, and these seats will not be in. These seats wouldn't even work.
Oh, I don't agree with that assessment at all.
Oh yeah, they could totally make a seat. They could make, at the very least, they could make a seat that just has sort of more of a lip on the edge where you sit. But then it's not fair to fat people.
But you have cities like San Francisco, New York, Seattle, all of these liberal strongholds where I could easily see seats like these being pushed through by the city council as a replacement for the seats on the bus and the subway.
Well, I think that maybe that's the case. I don't know the answer to that, but I think that comes with its own set of problems. So if an obese person...
Why not just segregate? I mean, if we're going to do this, why not just segregate men and women? Women are allowed to sit in this part of the subway. Men are allowed to sit in this part of the subway.
Because it's unfair to give women pink seats and men blue seats.
It's unfair to everyone, but that's ultimately what this is. It's just on a minor scale. Let's segregate which chairs men are allowed to sit in and which chairs women are allowed to sit in. It's still divisive nonsense, just as bad. 100% just as bad as saying women must sit in this part of the bus. Black people have to sit in that part of the bus. Trans people, they're not allowed on the bus. It's just as bad.
If I wanted to give my seat, if we have a men only and a women only section, can I give my seat to a pregnant woman at that point? What if there's more women on my particular car than men, and all the women's seats are taken up or something?
History would suggest that no. If your water fountain back in the whatever word I'm looking for, South, back in the 1970s.
Colored's only water fountain.
Yeah. If your white water fountain was, nobody was standing in line waiting on it, you were just chilling there next to it, and there was a line of 30 black people waiting on the colored's fountain, you wouldn't be able to say, hey, you look really thirsty, come use this fountain.
Right.
Because then you would be going to jail. You would be breaking the law. I
doubt it.
Well, maybe, probably not.
I think
the other
social
guy
convention
would
would go after the black person because they had stepped out of line.
Certainly.
In that case. I would just be a moron.
So in this case, either the man or the woman, one of the two parties, would be stepping out of line. But that's going to be the case with these chairs as well. If they manage to make their way into any sort of public transportation, if a woman sits down in the men's chair, or totally allowable. But if a man sits down in the woman's chair, no. He's getting fined. He's getting a ticket. Worst case scenario, he may in fact be going to jail. It depends on how far they want to push this. But it's the same segregationist nonsense.
Well, most of the handicap spots, most of the time, handicap spots are enforced by social convention, as opposed to somebody going around and writing tickets for somebody who doesn't have a handicap placard. I'm thinking about this because today I used a handicap parking space, although I don't have a handicap placard.
Okay.
And the reason is that I was driving my friend who's at the nursing home and uses a walker. He wanted to pick up his photos from the photo mart on Main Street. I don't know why this is what he does, but this is what he does. So I can't. There's no way for me to drop him off in the middle of Main Street. I have to use a handicap spot, and then I have to get out and go and help him up over the curb. I have to help him into the door and do a variety of things. I have to do it. Now it feels really weird because I don't have permission from the people in the government who hand out these things, but I figure if he comes walking back in his walker that the cop will probably just tear up the ticket. That's my guess.
I would think so. I mean, especially once they, actually see that you may not be handicapped, the owner of the vehicle may not be, but you're clearly assisting someone who is. So I don't think but that wasn't the case with more collectivist crap like the segregation, the racism, the sexism, and things like that, right?
Which wasn't the case.
People actually were ticketed, and the cops didn't just tear the tickets up. The judges didn't just throw the tickets out and release the...
They enforced their rules. Yeah.
And I think that's ultimately what we're going to see here. It's not good. I don't think this is the proper solution. You shouldn't need your own specific chair based on what is between your legs or based on what you present yourself as, whatever.
If manspreading is a problem, and I'm willing to concede that it is, I don't think that this is the solution. I think that this is the solution for a liberal college student at a liberal college to get an A on their final report in design class, though. So good for her.
855-450-3733.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,414, silver at $15.37, and Bitcoin is trading at $10,871. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, U.S. President Donald Trump on Sunday told unidentified Democratic congresswomen to go back where they came from, prompting senior members of the party to brand him a racist and a xenophobe. It is the latest controversial comment by Trump, who last year reportedly referred to countries in Africa as S-hole nations, and who has spoken of an invasion of undocumented migrants. In a tweet, the anti-media reports that Trump referred to progressive Democrat congresswomen, which appeared to be a reference to a group of outspoken, relatively young, liberal women, all first-time members of the House of Representatives. They include Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib of Michigan, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York. Trump did not say whom he was referring to, but said they, quote, originally came from countries whose governments are a complete and total catastrophe, the worst, most corrupt, and inept anywhere in the world, end quote. He accused the women of viciously telling the people of the United States, quote, the greatest and most powerful nation on earth, how our government is to be run, end quote. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A 69-year-old activist was shot and killed by police outside of a detention center in Tacoma, Washington. Willem Van Spronsen was reportedly armed with a rifle while throwing incendiary devices at the immigration prison when he was shot and killed last week. The Mind Unleashed reports that police say Spronsen set a vehicle on fire and was attempting to ignite a propane tank next to one of the buildings. Police spokesman Loretta Kuhl told Como News that all 4 officers on the scene fired their weapons, killing Spronsen almost immediately. Kuhl did not say that Spronsen fired on the officers, only that the officers called out to him before opening fire. The incident occurred roughly 6 hours after a peaceful demonstration took place in front of the same facility. Another rally was scheduled to take place after the shooting, but was later moved to a different location. Geo Group, who owns the detention center, blamed the media for the shooting in an email to the Associated Press. NATO, on Friday, said it was concerned by Turkey's acquisition of Russia's S-400 missile defense system, after Ankara took delivery of its first batch. That's according to AFP. The anti-media is reporting the alliance has repeatedly warned Turkey that the Russian system is incompatible with other NATO weapon systems, not least the F-35 fighter jet. The United States fears that if NATO member Turkey integrates the S-400 into its defenses, there's a risk that sensitive data about the F-35, a new generation multi-role stealth fighter, could leak back to the Russians. President Donald Trump's pick for Pentagon chief, Mark Esper, confronted the Turkish defense minister about the deal on the sidelines of a NATO meeting last month. Washington has threatened to expel Turkey from its F-35 program, giving Ankara until July 31st to cancel the S-400 purchase or have its pilots kicked off the training course and expelled from the U.S. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A new Gallup poll found that the GOP has an overwhelming advantage among young people who look like old men. The poll shows Republicans hold a solid lead among the coveted elderly youth demographic, including 18 to 24-year-olds who wear suspenders and bow ties to class every day. I'm joined by Republican strategist Rob Powell. These are pretty encouraging numbers for the GOP, aren't they?
Yeah, of course, it's very encouraging. Millennials who look like they're permanently dressed for boat trips are a rapidly growing segment of the population.
And according to the survey, the prematurely aged are also very politically active.
Absolutely. Only about 20% of young people vote overall, but there's almost 100% turnout among youth that dress like a dad from a 1950s sitcom.
Now, what about the criticism that the GOP only appeals to white men?
Not true. We also have a lot of support among sorority girls that wear pantsuits and pearls, paunchy Chinese college students, and we're making inroads among African American ham radio enthusiasts.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Take control of the airwaves and tell us whatever is on your mind. That number is 855-450-3733. Again, that's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Michael,
and Mark.
And we're going to move on now to a story about Germany deciding that Windows 10 and Office 365 are not welcome in their schools. Michael, do you have that pulled up in front of you?
I do not have that pulled up.
Well, evidently, Microsoft has run afoul of the GDPR, which I don't remember what that stands for, but that's the whole privacy crap.
General Data Protection Regulations. It's this whole new...
I'm concerned that you know what that acronym stands for.
He's in business.
Well, it's kind of my day job to know what these things stand for. It's this whole new regulatory regime in the EU where you basically have to go to pretty extreme measures to so-called protect the privacy of visitors to your website or users of your product or whatever.
Well, that's... And I mean, that's... good if private companies opted to do it of their own volition. It's not so good when the government attempts to do it.
Well, what happens with the government putting down regulations is that maybe a regulation's a great idea, but it always has these unintended consequences, and the government doesn't care what the cost is. So, for instance, we used to have, yeah, we still do. Yeah, there is a web forum for Free Talk Live. I don't remember what it is, but it has...
Is it the Shire Society one?
Yeah, the Shire Society.
That's shiresociety.com. You can join the forum there.
Right, and then there's a segment for Free Talk Live there.
Right.
And you can go there and you post whatever you want to post. And we used to have a very busy BBS before Facebook came along and killed all BBSs, or, message board.
Right.
Yep.
And it was very busy. And you know what? Sometimes people posted some things that weren't safe for work. And
giggity.
Maybe they have naughty pictures, or maybe they just have opinions that suck, or whatever it is that was on there. It was on there. Now, we did our level best not to censor it. Then we had to come to there's a censored section and a not censored section. But largely people censored themselves. But if the government decides that, well, the things that are posted on our web page are our responsibility, even though they're posted by other people. Well, now what? Now I've got to hire, in order to run a message board, I have to hire somebody to watch my message board. Well, it's not worth it.
No, it certainly isn't. And it's probably, this is a really idiotic move from Germany. You cannot use a PC you could not use a PC from the 2016 to mid-2018 range without your computer almost forcing you to upgrade to Windows 10.
Yeah. Doing
That's
its
true.
very best.
They got really aggressive with that stuff. Even on Windows 7, they got really they'd pop the thing up on your screen where you had to upgrade or cancel the upgrade or put it off for a week or whatever. And then they switched it around so where if you hit the button, it would start the upgrade instead of putting it off.
Yeah, they did a lot of really shady things. And I was doing a lot of IT work at the time, and I had to live this nonsense live first.
It bricked one of my computers.
I'd get calls every single morning from clients. Hey, one of our computers upgraded to Windows 10 overnight. We need this undone. It was good for my business because, that's a $115 reformat reinstall. But it was a huge hassle. And if Microsoft didn't have the enormous edge in the computing world that they already have, and I know Chris Wade of Think Penguin would go, well, that's an illusion because routers run Linux. But we're talking computers here. We're talking end user devices. And Microsoft absolutely has the edge on that. If they didn't, this would have absolutely destroyed them. Windows 10 is great once you turn off all of the data mining features, because that's why it was given to you for free. So just like Google Chrome and like Facebook. It's selling you. You become the product. And Microsoft 10 has, Windows 10 has all of these telemetrics built into it that can be turned off if you are an IT person and you know what you're doing.
Or
I don't.
There's a script you can download that will do that.
There are, but in order to run some of these scripts, or to even know how to run some of these scripts, you have to have a basic level of IT knowledge.
Well, you have to be able to find PowerShell, which is what it is. You have to be able to follow directions.
But experience tells me the average person
I didn't even know that I had to. So that's what you're dealing with here. Is you're like, well, maybe I could do it, Michael, but I didn't even know I had to do it. What Aria is saying makes perfectly good sense. That giving away Windows 10 wasn't a move by Microsoft to get ubiquity. It was a move by Microsoft to mine data.
Yeah, it's all about getting your data. That's true. Windows 10, there's so much telemetry that it sends back, and you can only turn off about 90% of it.
Yep.
Yeah, some of it's still going to get back. And then you have applications. You have the programs running within Microsoft that are doing exactly the same things. The reason I hate EA's Origin, EA is a video game company, and Origin is a storefront for their video games. The reason I hate it so much is because about a year ago, they forced you to put your save files into the cloud. No way to turn it off whatsoever. I don't want EA to be able to get whatever information they want just to be able to play a video game that I bought and paid for. Just like I don't want Microsoft to be able to know how often I open Microsoft Word or how often I just click Notepad. They want that information, sure, because they want to know where to slap their stupid ads to most effectively target me. But I don't want them to know that. And Google Chrome, same thing has happened with it. It was a beautiful, beautiful web browser for about a year after it first released. And then it just took over the internet. Firefox basically died. Internet Explorer finally finished dying. Netscape, of course, long dead. Opera, long dead. Google Chrome came along, and it was just this beautiful, seamless, fast, efficient, sleek web browser. Everyone loved it. And then it just grew and grew and grew. And now Google is the most...
That's all the problems that the web browser was made to solve, meaning that it was big and slow.
You open Google Chrome now, and it immediately launches like 15 processes in your task manager. Why is all of this necessary for me to go to YouTube and watch a video? Which, by the way, is going to attempt to serve me ads unsuccessfully because I'm going to install NoScript and AdBlock and Ghostery.
See, I don't install... So AdBlock is really good for some websites that have all this crap on them that's sort of mally and bad. But to me, I don't want to have to use ad block, because when I go to a website, I want to see the ads they're showing me because I understand why I'm there. Like, they're providing me whatever content they're providing me because some people will come and click on that article about, one weird fruit you can eat to lose weight or whatever the hell it is that they've got out there. And to me, everything's got to be paid for, and advertising is the price I pay for going to a site. So I don't like ad block.
The ads
generally
are how websites pay the bills, and I've made money from ads on websites, so I understand both sides of this because I run ad blocking.
I have never run an ad on any of my websites, and the reason is because I don't think the end user fully appreciates what they're getting into when they get involved with these trackers and advertisements and things like that. There are companies like Google and Facebook that know almost everything there is to know about you, to the extent that it's quite common to see people online talking about, I swear, Facebook just read my mind. There was a fly going around out here, and I thought, how nice would it be if I just had a fly swatter? And suddenly they were served an ad for a fly swatter. I don't think Facebook is reading your mind.
No, that would be that's impossible.
There's this persistent rumor going around that Facebook activates the microphone on your phone, though. They deny it, and it may not be true, but it goes around.
Wasn't there the Amazon air conditioning service that was doing exactly that? They had a microphone built into it, and they weren't supposed to, or it was supposed to be turned off or non-functional, but oops, we accidentally left that functional, and we're recording everything you said in your house.
Oh, yeah. If you got an Amazon device in your house, you can pretty much be sure it's always listening.
Doesn't everybody who has a phone have an Amazon device? I mean,
yeah. It may not be from Amazon,
the standalone
but
devices.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, sure. Your phone is constantly listening.
What is the difference, though? If you've got a phone and you said, oh, sure, Facebook, you can use my microphone and you can use my camera and you can do those things, then haven't you just given them permission to spy on you?
Well, if you don't give them permission and they do it anyway, then you've got a problem.
855-450-3733. Let us know what you think about the internet and privacy and how these things interrelate. 855-450-3733.
Living in a more free society isn't going to help you much if your life isn't free. If you're stuck at a job, business, or relationship where you are not free, what good is a free society to you? You can live a more free life. I'm Caleb Jones, and my staff and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income, location-independent businesses and how to date women under your terms. Go to freelifeinfo.com to download 7 free books and podcasts so you can live a life like this too.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynavite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McAlvany ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Negotiation isn't just something union leaders and sports agents do. Your entire day is a series of negotiations. If you have young children, you know that. In fact, your kids can teach you a lot about negotiating with grown-ups. According to the world's greatest negotiator, Herb Cohen, author of You Can Negotiate Anything. Herb says that kids understand the process of decision-making within an organization. organization. When one parent says no, they'll ask the other. And Cohen says children persist and persevere. And like smart negotiators of all ages, kids know that no is an opening bargaining position. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important, especially if you're a job seeker. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Take control of the airwaves. Tell us whatever is on your mind. 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Michael,
and Mark. I want to tell you about Alpha Male 2.0. So here's some awesome guy stuff. Do you feel stuck in a job or relationship, or both? Caleb Jones has taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income, location-independent businesses and how to date women under your terms. 2.0 alpha males have learned how to break free and how to truly live. Shouldn't you be able to do whatever you want, whenever you want, and not have to ask permission or answer to anyone? To date whomever you want, even if you're already in a relationship. Yeah, my wife isn't going for that. Caleb's point, living in a free society isn't going to help you much if your life isn't free. Visit freelifeinfo.com and download the Alpha Male 2.0 starter pack for free. Included are 7 free books and podcasts so that you can start living a truly free life right now. The Alpha Male 2.0 starter pack will show you the exact strategies Caleb and his team use together to get better with women, increase their income and personal freedom and happiness. Get your free Alpha Male 2.0 starter pack at freelifeinfo.com, freelifeinfo.com.
I absolutely have to check this out at some point tonight.
I have talked to the guy, and he is very engaging.
I do not doubt that at all.
Very interesting to listen to, and those sorts of things. And at the very least, I think he's probably putting on a pretty good podcast. And I'm intrigued by the location-independent business part. I've got the relationship thing handled, or my wife does, or one of us does. I'm not sure who, but.
It's handled, at any rate.
That's somebody else's, might be very interested in that. And as I understand it, that's the relationship that he has, and he can, at the very least, explain it to you.
Very cool. I'm looking forward to checking that out. Let's get right into the phones. We've got Brody calling in from Clinton, Utah. Brody, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, guys. I was calling in about something else, and I remembered while I was holding that there was something else I wanted to talk to you about. So what I want to talk about is I think there's only 2 freedoms that really matter. I don't know if you all agree with me on this
Let's
or not,
see.
but it occurred to me why Ron Paul was so against the Federal Reserve, and I really think I've come to the conclusion that the only freedoms that really matter is monetary freedom and banking freedom, and because he who controls the money has the power.
Right.
Yeah, I think that I have, I've long, for a long time, considered the Federal Reserve to be the most important issue
when it comes to liberty, but it's very difficult to get other people to agree with me on that particular issue, and it's extraordinarily well entrenched, and it's a boring topic for most people.
You know, I think even Ron Paul has said before that all freedoms ultimately derive from economic freedom. So if you don't have economic freedom because you're tied to the U.S. dollar or the Federal Reserve has control over your finances, then what other freedoms do you have? Yeah,
I would go even further and would say that economic freedom is the only freedom, because I look at it in the Rothbardian sense. And he actually got these ideas from somewhere else, where there's essentially two ways to do a thing. There's the economic means and there's the political means. There's the way of production and the way of parasitism. The economic means is us going about our lives, living in freedom, not having the politics used against us. And the entirety of human history is a war between these two means.
Yeah. That's what it is.
The thing is, I posted this on some Facebook groups, on libertarian groups, anarchist groups. And one of the libertarian groups, a guy responded and said, well, you can go ahead and make your own currency. And so
he is correct.
About the Liberty Dollar. And he said, well, the reason Liberty Dollar failed is because they tried to make it be like a dollar, a U.S. dollar, and so that's where they got them. But I know Liberty Dollar was really growing, and I'm not really sure why there isn't a private money in the United States if we can coin our own money.
There is Bitcoin. There is Bitcoin Cash. There's Dash. There's Litecoin, Ethereum, Zcash, Horizon.
Many choices.
Well, sure. There's the digital cash, but why not make a coin out of gold or silver that is based on a weight value instead of some arbitrary value?
You should check out
online.
You should check out Liberty Dollar 2, LD2. I think is what they're going under. I can't remember what the website is off the top of my head. But if I'm sure you've got a search engine, and you check out Liberty Dollar 2, and you can find out more about what they're doing. But
isn't it illegal still to own coinage that's actually minted in gold and silver?
No. Liberty Dollar, the reason he's right. The reason Liberty Dollar got there's two reasons Liberty Dollar got. First off, they had paper money, so there was a place for them to go to get the silver, basically. And like I say it all the time, gold is called the currency of kings because the kings will ultimately get it all. They're going to take it from you, and because they want it,
right?
And that's sort of what happened with the Liberty Dollar. Is basically the Fed said, they're keeping it. They say it right here on the note that they keep it at this vault, and we're going to go get it. And they went and got it. And Liberty. Okay. So that's problem number one. Problem number two. Yeah, Bernard von Nothaus had a promotional video where he appeared to not sufficiently explain his currency to a woman he was, making a purchase from. Now, this is television, and you don't always know what you're seeing on TV. I mean, right. It turns out that Tom Cruise actually wasn't a samurai in the 1870s.
Are
right?
we sure? I need a reference on this.
So,
what's your citation?
In this circumstance, maybe the woman knew ahead of time and she was just, playing along with Bernard. We have no idea what actually happened, but he made a purchase and he said, it's the new dollar, and, made the purchase. And that was good enough for a jury to say, yeah, he may not have counterfeited a coin, but he represented his coin as though it was a currency. And I did this once too. I made a purchase at a gas station, and I bought some gasoline with a Liberty Dollar. It was the $10 silver piece, and it was an ounce of silver at the time. And, well, they were wondering why I was using this coin. They were thinking that maybe I had robbed somebody's, coin collection or something. But I'm saying I just want people to use, silver coins. And I explained that it was silver, but I didn't explain that it wasn't a government currency. Mm-hmm. And so maybe this lady decided to take it to the bank, and the bank rejected it. Most of the time, I think what happened with the Liberty Dollars is that when you bought them, or used them to pay for stuff, that the cashier just bought them right out of the
been, because
I'm keeping that.
Right. I mean, it's a very unique coin. It's heavy, and it's an ounce of silver versus the crap that they call coins now.
Awesome. I didn't know much about the Liberty Dollar. Always happy to learn new ththings. I'm not surprised that it failed, largely because the government was like, ooh, we want that.
Too centralized, I think, is what I think.
855-450-3733. Brody, thanks for the call. Always teaching me new things. Again, that's 855-450-3733. Let us know what you think. Or use the Discord call-in lines, which you can find at discord.lrn.fm.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Free Talk Live.
The idea that politicians are leaders. Check your premises on that one.
Cutting proof.
Really? Would you really follow Barack Obama or George Bush? Would you really follow their every command? Would you follow their suggestions? Do you believe that politicians are somehow more knowledgeable than you are? That politicians are of a special group of people? They're a special little critter that for some reason is more enlightened or educated? Constantly you can hear talking heads refer to the authorities or our leaders in Washington, and it's just patently absurd. I mean, these people are failures at life. That's why they became politicians.
Right. I mean, there's so many of them are attorneys. The good attorneys make a whole bunch of money and retire with yachts. The unsuccessful ones go into politics.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. 855-450-3733. Give us a call. Let us know what you think. Tell us whatever is on your mind. Again, that's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
Michael.
And Mark.
And Mark, you've got a long trip coming up, don't you?
I do. We're going out to Freedom Fest, taking the red eye. I don't know how I let Ian book that, but I did. And, well, it's going to be lots and lots of fun. But it will be fun once we get there. But the travel I'm not looking forward to. Nonetheless, we're heading to Freedom Fest. I've already got my cowboy outfit. This year's theme is the Wild West, so I brought a little cowboy outfit. Ought to be fun. Actually, a couple of them. And there's going to have big names: Penn Jillette, Lenore Skenazy, Candace Owens, John Mackey, Grover Norquist, Stephen Moore, Herman Cain, Senator Mike Lee, Kevin Sorbo, Thomas Massey, Justin Amash, John Stossel, Glenn Beck. The names just go on. And this will be the last read you're going to hear about Freedom Fest because it's the 17th through the 20th. It's coming up right now. You can still get tickets by going over to freedomfest.com/FTL. It's freedomfest.com/FTL. And love to see you out there. I think it's going to be a great time. It's at the Hotel the Paris is what it's called. The Paris. It's in Las Vegas, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's freedomfest.com/FTL, and I'm looking forward to seeing you there.
Did you say Kevin Sorbo? Like Hercules, Kevin Sorbo?
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Interesting.
He's kind of conservative guy.
Is he?
Yeah. So, and he doesn't mind telling people on Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will do it.
Yep.
Apparently, I mean, that's what politicians and politically active people do now. They take to Twitter because it's always that phrase.
Take to Twitter.
Trump took to Twitter.
Yes.
Ocasio-Cortez took to Twitter. So anyway, we've been talking about Germany and the Commissioner for Data Protection and Freedom of Information in the German state. Good Lord, that is quite a name. Declared that Windows 10 and Office 365 are not compliant with the GDPR for use in schools.
Okay.
The issue is related to the telemetry, both cloud...
What's telemetry?
Studying people.
Okay. Telemetry is the data that the computer sends back to Microsoft about you and about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything that they can get.
And they say it ranges from standard software diagnostics to user content from inside applications, potentially sentences from documents and email subject lines.
Oh my, that's big. That's really big. That stuff is not supposed to be going back to anywhere. Like outside the EU, the GDPR, one of the big things about it is that all the data that you process...
The GDPR is what again?
The General Data Protection Regulation.
Okay.
All the data you process is supposed to stay in the EU. There's a few exceptions where you can process it elsewhere, but this doesn't qualify.
So their issue is that it's being sent to Microsoft, which is an American company?
Right.
But if it was being sent to a European company, they would have no issue with it.
They'd have no issue with it at all.
So they can't just set up offices in Switzerland? I'm not sure if Switzerland counts as... it's not EU.
They used to do this, as I understand it, they used to have special servers in Ireland, which is part of the EU, that they processed all this data in, and that made them compliant. So I'm not sure what happened here.
Well, it's a poor move for the European Union to have such a regulation. Now, they must use some sort of inferior software that is produced in the European Union. Now, ultimately, isn't this a different way of economic protectionism? Isn't this just the candle makers petition happening all over again?
Yes.
They're like, oh, we will only do business with European countries now. Well, okay, good. Enjoy your crappy European software.
We must, we gotta stop these foreigners from coming in and taking the information from our Europeans. We'll do that. Thanks very much.
So previously, Microsoft provided a special version of the software applications which stored the data in European data centers, but recently the permission was rescinded and data was being sent directly to the United States.
Oops.
So they were
doing this, and then why would they even turn that off, though? That doesn't make sense.
Well, permission was rescinded. Presumably, they were like, no, you can't have these European data centers anymore. And Microsoft was like, okay, well, screw you. We're going back. We'll just use our American ones, which made Germany go, no, this is our information. We're supposed to be stealing this from the people. How dare you, you American company? So the data commissioner, who has a name I'm not going to attempt to pronounce, said that public institutions in Germany have a social responsibility with regard to the permissibility and traceability of the processing of personal data. Sounds a lot like Trump saying that they have a responsibility to the Midwestern farmers who need to buy steel or whatever. So we need to slap tariffs on China.
Well, I mean, there are reasons to keep data within the EU if it's personal data. I mean, this is they really.
I don't know why any
kind of well-intentioned, but
hold on. Why would any sort of border play into this as being significant?
Because if you send that stuff transatlantically, it goes over the nice undersea fiber optic cable, and the NSA swipes it up.
Okay,
if you keep it
that's
in the
definitely
EU,
a problem.
If you keep it in the EU, then most of the time they don't get it.
Then Interpol gets it.
Well, they get everything.
Well, so does the NSA.
Well, the NSA mostly gets long distance fiber optic cables. So if it's staying in Europe, there's a good chance the NSA won't see it.
But it's on the internet.
It doesn't matter. They don't have the entire internet.
The NSA has access to, I'm going to say, almost anything on the internet that they want access to. And if they don't have access
to it, but they probably don't have it. What he's saying is they don't have it wholesale.
Okay. So they actually ran a fiber optics cable across the Atlantic?
Yeah, they've got tapped. They tapped into it at the Atlantic cable. I think they're tapped in actually in the UK.
So everything that travels transatlantically is being monitored by the NSA.
Right.
Interesting.
Does anything?
They got the tap in San Francisco that made news in 2005. Do you remember that? The AT&T building that I don't know if you remember that or not, but
I hadn't even graduated high school at that point.
Okay.
Is
there
a Trans-Pacific line?
There are Trans-Pacific lines, and there's a big AT&T office in San Francisco where all those lines come in, and the NSA has a tap there. It's a humongous tap that splits everything off.
So Trans-Pacific and transatlantic traffic.
Right.
Okay.
So this is true
in
for
or out of the U.S., the NSA is getting it one way or the other.
Interesting. I was not aware of this. I can't say I'm terribly surprised, but that's definitely alarming. I mean, there are no satellite connections or anything like that. All internet traffic outside of the United States travels through one of these two pipes.
Yeah, most of what's there's more than two.
So we can be great firewalled with even more ease than the Chinese.
Yeah, mostly it's not over satellite. Mostly satellite is for people's home connections these days.
Well, and cell phones and stuff like that. But that's what I'm saying is that, a cell phone data connection still ends up passing through one of these fiber optic lines.
If you're looking at a website that's not in the U.S.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously. So we are firewalled for all intents and purposes.
Or we could be.
Well, I would say that we are if the NSA has, that level of access to all data coming in and all data coming out. I mean, that's what a firewall is.
Well, they're not blocking anything.
Right. But it's still there. It's still
They're tapped in. They're not blocking anything yet that I know of.
But it would be a simple matter.
How much more
for
would
them
the internet suck if suddenly it was just me? I was just able to access the United States internet.
Well, that's what the governments of the world are working toward.
I would agree with you that that's what they're trying to do, but it just seems like probably what I'm doing on the internet, well, by and large, it doesn't really matter for me, mostly. I mean, there's some clients that I have that are outside the United States, and, that would certainly, be a hardship for my business. I'm just thinking that, the websites I go to and stuff, they're probably all housed here in the United States.
Most of them are American, but even Free Talk Live, the website is not hosted in the U.S.
Yeah. We do that on purpose, right?
We do that on purpose.
Yeah.
So if I was to go to I don't believe in subjugating, pluralizing subjugated verbs. If I was to go, it's a long story. If I was to go to freetalklive.com, it would travel through one of these pipes, and the NSA would be able to monitor that traffic.
Well, Free Talk Live is hosted in Montreal, so that's not going over a transatlantic cable.
Well, that's good news at least. 855-450-3733. My brain is just kind of shut down to learn that these transcontinental pipes exist and that they're just that accessible by the feds. Yeah. Let us know what you think. 855-450-3733.
Hey everyone! Proactive MD has an incredible offer for our radio listeners only. Stay tuned for our exclusive offer that includes a free charcoal pore cleansing brush and free shipping. Proactive MD with prescription strength adapalene can heal and prevent future breakouts. Today, for just $19.95, we're offering listeners the 3-piece Proactive MD system with free shipping, plus a free gift, the new charcoal pore cleansing brush. Get this exclusive offer by calling now, 1-800-583-8662, or go to proactive.com and enter promo code RADIO. You heard right. Proactive MD plus free shipping and a free gift. The new charcoal pore cleansing brush. You'll get all this for just $19.95 and their 60-day money-back guarantee. You're guaranteed to get clear and stay clear, or you get your money back. Call now. 1-800-583-8662. That's 1-800-583-8662. Or go to proactive.com and enter promo code RADIO. Again, go to proactive.com and enter promo code RADIO.
Hi, this is Sophie Winnick, longtime distributor and user of Youngevity products. In the last few years, my family went through a crisis. Everything else in my life, including my business, had to be put on the back burner. Thankfully, life is getting back to normal now. But the one thing I never had to worry about was my business and my monthly commission. I've been a distributor for Youngevity for over 17 years, since before it was Youngevity. And I've got to say, the most amazing thing about this company is the people. While my family was in crisis, other distributors stepped in and helped my customers, simply because that's what Youngevity people do, even for people they don't know. For me, it has never been about getting rich. It was about a product I could stand behind, a company I could count on, and a monthly commission check that has never, not once, been late in 17 years. Youngevity is truly a business for everyone, even people who have too much to do. I'm Sophie Winnick. I'm just like you. I have a real life, real ups and downs, but I know I will always have Youngevity.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Take control of the airwaves, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. With you tonight is Aria,
Michael,
and Mark.
And we've been talking about the GDPR and various problems in regards to this whole nationalist or The European Union isn't a nation, so what would you call that?
It's a federation.
It's a federation.
So what's interesting here...
But the United States used to be a federation.
Well, it is a federation.
Well,
it's just that it functions like a state. The thing is that it's a federation that's been around long enough, so the power has flowed upward, as it tends to do, and...
as we see happening with the EU today.
Right. You read earlier when you were reading about this, the title of this, this jackhole who's talking here is something about blah, 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 the German state, right?
Right.
And that it's right in the name of our states, right? They are the sovereign organizations here. The United States is a federation of sovereign organizations that have decided to work together.
Exactly like the European Union is set up to be. I've argued with so many liberals on this subject. Like the state of California was where one of these people was from, and it actually has the Republic of California right there on its flag. Trying to explain to this college-educated liberal that the California was a sovereign state, its own republic, was a monumental waste of time.
Well, they never learned that in college because they're not taught that in college. They're taught something else entirely.
Yeah, and indeed, functionally, it's best if you don't learn that because that's not how life is. Life is that that Washington, D.C. is the world's most powerful city-state, and you will do what it says or suffer the consequences. Now, the states themselves have all lost their sovereignty, mostly not because it was taken from them by Washington, D.C., but because they were bribed out of it by Washington, D.C. Because it has the power to create money. Right. DC does.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, DC takes your taxes and then gives them back to the states.
Right, and then the states are like, we desperately need that, and so they want it, and they'll do whatever it takes to get it. The reason that we have seatbelt laws in 49 out of 50 states is because the United States Department of Transportation or whatever the organization, NTSB, I don't know, decided that it would hand out, not the biggest bribe in the world, but a bribe to states to get them to make seatbelt laws. And
now, you mentioned 49 out of 50 states. I assume New Hampshire is the only state.
New Hampshire is the only state in the union that does not have a seatbelt law for adults. And
has no helmet law either.
No helmet law either. But in this case, they didn't take the $3 million. I happen to know that. I was sitting in some session or whatever where they were trying, we want this $3 million. $3 million is nothing for roads. I mean, you're talking about
I would agree.
Nothing at this point. Maybe when they pass the laws or whatever, and New Hampshire was going to get $3 million 30 years ago.
Yeah, 50 years ago, $3 million would have built a few miles of road. Today, it barely gets the construction company to wake up.
Right. I mean, it's nothing. So... I don't think New Hampshire is ever going to have a seatbelt law. And by the way, compliance for seatbelt usage in New Hampshire is almost as high. It's the lowest in the nation, 50th. But it is like a couple of percentage points different from Massachusetts.
Right.
Which is its next door neighbor. So Massachusetts, where they do have a seatbelt law, has lower compliance with seatbelt usage than New Hampshire. Those numbers may have changed. I looked some time ago.
Seatbelt laws are such nonsense. Like several years ago, I was pulled over on my way to work for not wearing a seatbelt. I was driving the speed limit, driving safely, but I did not have my seatbelt on while people drove by me doing 70 miles per hour in a 55. I was the one who was pulled over. And I ended up losing my job for being late that day of work.
That's a primary state, right? And people listening are like, well that's your fault. You should have done it.
It's not supposed to be, right? When they pass a law, we're not going to be able to pull you over for not wearing your seatbelt. No, but if we pull you over for something else and we find you without a seatbelt, then we'll just give you a ticket for it.
Yeah, but then they'll just make up something to pull you over for, like
it's worse than that.
55.
They don't have to anymore because it just slowly expanded to the point where, they can pull you over now for not wearing a seatbelt. That was not how it was sold.
That's how they do it. They get their tongue under the nose of your tent, and then you're done.
Yep, that's how they do it.
And it was extremely effective. And now, throughout most of these states in the U.S., you can be pulled over just for not wearing your seatbelt, even though it was sold to the people as a secondary infraction.
Yeah, I don't know whether that's still the case in Florida or whatever. I mean, secondary, primary, I don't know. But ultimately, if they want to go after you for a seatbelt infraction, then they can, because they can pull you over for anything. My favorite is weaving inside the lane.
Did you like the whole I got pulled over for my blinker blinking too fast that happened recently?
No.
That was a pretty good one.
That's pretty amazing.
Having the cop stand there and just look silly with no idea how to respond when I asked him, well, isn't that what blinkers are supposed to do? Was just priceless. And it's all on video. You can go there and watch it.
Where?
Actually, I don't think you can because I'm banned from Facebook still for like 10 more days. And that's where it's at.
Did Ian not put up a copy?
No, Ian accidentally deleted his copy.
Oh, oops.
Yeah.
So if you're banned from Facebook, people can't go to your page?
They can go to my page. I'm just not sure whether or not the video is there because all of these things were happening at once. I got banned the same night that I got pulled over by the cops.
I see.
By sheer coincidence. So I'm not sure what...
So you can't get the video because you Facebook Lived it.
Right. It was Facebook Live.
Okay.
Because the Cell 411 app, which is a wonderful app that I would highly recommend everybody uses, in addition to the Waze app, that's WAZE. But Cell 411, it immediately sent out a request letting all of the people in my friends' circles, my cells, know that I was being harassed by men with guns. And Ian showed up, Matt Roach showed up, and it was quite humorous considering what was happening.
Yeah.
And it's just absolutely silly. Download Cell 411 if you're getting harassed or something like that.
Getcell411.com.
That's the name of the site.
Yep.
It's also just on the Google Play Store. So that's how I found it.
Cell 411.
Yeah, it's a great application.
It is. It's really a phenomenal application.
And it has a built-in streaming service. Once you set it up, you can stream directly to YouTube as well as the Cell 411 Facebook page and your own Facebook page. This uses up a lot of bandwidth, naturally, but their servers were having some kind of issue. I don't know exactly what, but so it kept getting interrupted. The streams did until I finally just said, screw it, and
Facebook Live.
And Facebook Lived it.
Didn't have a problem.
No. But it was humorous to be pulled over in part because my blinker was blinking too fast. And we're told, oh, well, that means one of your bulbs isn't working, but I've since checked and both bulbs are fine. So,
well, that's another thing about,
you have a tail light out. Smash.
Well, it doesn't even have to be out. They could just be, nope. When I looked at it, it didn't work.
Yeah.
It may work, 1,000 times after this, but it didn't work the time that I looked at it. And there's nothing you can do about that statement because it's an officer claiming that something happened. And you cannot even say that it didn't because it's your taillight. You're driving.
That's true. And that's the real mark of fascism, is that nothing actually has to be wrong with your vehicle. You don't actually have to be doing anything wrong. You can be weaving inside your own lane, evidently. How did this happen to you or someone you know?
I've heard it used in the past. It's never been an issue for me. I never have trouble on the roads. I rarely have trouble on the roads as far as police go and that sort of thing, because I think it's just because, I'm me. And I'm a middle-aged guy who isn't going to be. I don't speed. I do not speed because I'm not giving these people any extra money.
Right.
To me, speeding tickets are just another form of taxation, and I'm not giving them extra stuff. One of my favorite things to do is get in front of a cop and go the speed limit.
Oh, absolutely.
I love that.
Because they hate it.
Right.
I don't
because
like
the
being
speed limits are set too low and the cops go in and enforce them. You don't like it, pal? You can do a hell of a lot more about it than I can. And for now, you're going to go 35 miles an hour. Enjoy.
Well, you have no choice when a cop is behind you because they will pull you over. Even if they pull out, even if they are going 60 miles per hour until they get too close to you and then they slow down, if they want to, they'll pull you over.
When I was
can't go faster.
Younger, I absolutely would speed, a little bit. When I always went over the speed limit because I figured, well, the cop doesn't want to do it either. Right. And they don't. And one time I had a police officer.
They don't, but if they want to pull you over,
they will.
They will.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you're
up.
I was going 5 miles an hour over the limit, which was my practice at one point, and a police officer in, I think it was like a statey in Arizona, flashed his headlights at me to let me know that you shouldn't be doing that when I'm around, and then went on his way.
Wow.
That's the only time that's ever been an issue.
That's pretty innocuous. There's a story of the old woman, I think she was 60 years old, who was arrested for doing 38 in a 35.
Wow.
Yeah, so 855-450-3733.
What does that mean?
Arrested. I'm not sure. I will look into it.
Okay.
855 450
I'm
free.
obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20 mymagicmud.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,414, silver at $15.37, and Bitcoin is trading at $10,871. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, U.S. President Donald Trump on Sunday told unidentified Democratic congresswomen to go back where they came from, prompting senior members of the party to brand him a racist and a xenophobe. It is the latest controversial comment by Trump, who last year reportedly referred to countries in Africa as S-hole nations, and who has spoken of an invasion of undocumented migrants. In a tweet, the anti-media reports that Trump referred to progressive Democrat congresswomen, which appeared to be a reference to a group of outspoken, relatively young, liberal women, all first-time members of the House of Representatives. They include Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib of Michigan, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York. Trump did not say whom he was referring to, but said they, quote, originally came from countries whose governments are a complete and total catastrophe, the worst, most corrupt, and inept anywhere in the world, end quote. He accused the women of viciously telling the people of the United States, quote, the greatest and most powerful nation on earth, how our government is to be run, end quote. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A 69-year-old activist was shot and killed by police outside of a detention center in Tacoma, Washington. Willem Van Spronsen was reportedly armed with a rifle while throwing incendiary devices at the immigration prison when he was shot and killed last week. The Mind Unleashed reports that police say Spronson set a vehicle on fire and was attempting to ignite a propane tank next to one of the buildings. Police spokesman Loretta Kuhl told Como News that all 4 officers on the scene fired their weapons, killing Spronson almost immediately. Kuhl did not say that Spronson fired on the officers, only that the officers called out to him before opening fire. The incident occurred roughly 6 hours after a peaceful demonstration took place in front of the same facility. Another rally was scheduled to take place after the shooting, but was later moved to a different location. Geo Group, who owns the detention center, blamed the media for the shooting in an email to the Associated Press. NATO, on Friday, said it was concerned by Turkey's acquisition of Russia's S-400 missile defense system, after Ankara took delivery of its first batch. That's according to AFP. The anti-media is reporting the alliance has repeatedly warned Turkey that the Russian system is incompatible with other NATO weapon systems, not least the F-35 fighter jet. The United States fears that if NATO member Turkey integrates the S-400 into its defenses, there's a risk that sensitive data about the F-35, a new generation multi-role stealth fighter, could leak back to the Russians. President Donald Trump's pick for Pentagon chief, Mark Esper, confronted the Turkish defense minister about the deal on the sidelines of a NATO meeting last month. Washington has threatened to expel Turkey from its F-35 program, giving Ankara until July 31st to cancel the S-400 purchase or have its pilots kicked off the training course and expelled from the U.S. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Delighted health insurance executives gather in an outdoor coliseum to watch a patient battle cancer. And a self-conscious flasher is fully clothed under his trench coat. This is the Onion Week in Review. While stressing that they would absolutely never consider doing anything of the sort, German leaders quietly admitted this week that they were pretty sure they could carry out another Holocaust if they ever truly wanted to. Quickly noting that the Holocaust was an atrocity that should never be repeated, no matter how easy it would be to do so, almost all members of the German parliament discreetly conceded that with their country's dominance of Eurozone GDP, pulling off the unthinkable genocide would not be the least bit difficult.
I'm just saying, hypothetically, that we very easily could do it. I mean, we definitely have the infrastructure, and the concentration camps are still standing.
In other news, a so-called Christian has an erection. A new study finds more children are growing up in single-parent households. And a real-life Nancy Drew traces the source of her HPV.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. 855-450-3733. Again, that's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live. And with you tonight, it's Aria,
Michael,
and Mark.
And cryptocurrency is always in the news, but in the last few days, it's become more.
Because there's a lot of cryptocurrency news organizations these days, including Bitcoin.com.
Yes. And Cointelegraph, which is where our current story comes from. Evidently, yesterday or the day before or sometime recently, the orange man yelled at cryptocurrency.
Yes.
Essentially because he doesn't understand it.
Thank you, Donald. You think it's because he doesn't understand it?
Well, he
seemed to have some grasp that it was in competition with the U.S. dollar.
During the course of his little taking to Twitter, as he does, or actually I think this was actually in some speech somewhere, he stopped to point out.
He doesn't even understand what country Americans were born in.
He says something to the effect of, I don't like Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, which aren't money, because they're unregulated and they're used for illegal arms and drug sales and things like that.
Well, my favorite rebuttal to that is that Bitcoin pales in comparison to the U.S. dollar when it comes to arms and drug trades.
Right.
I mean, no.
the currency of illegal arms dealers and big time drug dealers, it's not Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen. It's the U.S. dollar. So if we're going to go after a currency for being, the currency of drug dealers and kidnappers and whatever the hell these disparagers wish to call Bitcoin, you need to go after the dollar first, because that's where the problem is.
Well, I mean, that's exactly it. We've had think tanks and various governmental organizations come out and say, "Oh, yeah, by the way, there's no terrorist organizations that are regularly making use of Bitcoin. There are no drug dealers that are regularly making use of cryptocurrency." But you still have these other governmental branches that are like, "No, it's used for drugs."
Well, crypto certainly is used on the dark the dark net to acquire drugs, but largely, it's my understanding, I've been to Silk Road, but the original one, so it's probably been close to 10 years since I went.
Just to take a look.
Just to take a look, quite seriously.
Yeah.
I felt like as a journalist, I need to, if you call me a journalist, as a commentator who talks about these issues, I need to go and take a look at this just to see what it is. It wasn't 10 years ago because Bitcoin, we didn't talk about Bitcoin until 2010. So maybe 2012 or something like that, I went on to Silk Road and took a look to see what it was like there. And, what I saw was people buying what they, being able to buy sort of usable amounts of drugs, not, getting the amount of drugs that turned them into a drug dealer, the amount of drugs that, they wanted to consume. And that's not, at that point, you're talking about something entirely different. I
would agree.
You're talking about people who are increasing their convenience in getting drugs and reducing the harm in their lives from the drugs, because it's not the equivalent of bathtub gin anymore. These things are tested. You've got a drug dealer who's getting ratings. That's a big deal. You don't get ratings from the guy that you're buying off the street corner. There are no ratings for that. So this is making the world quantifiably a safer place, and the politicians don't like that. Why? Especially in the United States, because they want drugs to be unsafe.
They do.
Drugs provide work for their friends, the drug dealers and the cops. Don't you tell me, ladies and gentlemen, that you don't believe that drug dealers give campaign contributions to politicians.
Oh, yes.
Don't you tell me that, because you're not that much of a fool. These people with big money, they're buying politicians. Why? How do I know that? Because they always have and they always will. Drug dealers want drugs to be illegal because
absolutely.
That drives up their profit margins.
The legalization of pot has been more destructive to the illicit cannabis trade than anything else could possibly have been.
Yeah, I mean,
this is why the major kingpins don't typically go down in flames. They don't typically wind up in jail. This is why the Silk Road and Ross Ulbricht were made martyrs by the state. Is because the drug dealers want these things to be illegal, because nobody is going to buy $5 of unknown, untested pot when they can go to the store, buy it legally, and know exactly what they're getting. Just like we don't go out into the streets to buy homemade aspirin, because we just go to the store and buy it, and we don't have to worry that it's going to, make our eyes bleed.
Yeah, I've only been in one pot store, and it seemed like the pricing was still pretty high. I don't know about $5 quantities or anything like that. I just don't know. I'm not consuming marijuana, whether it's legal or illegal, any more or less than I ever would, which is to say, I just don't do that stuff anymore. I did when I was younger. I don't do it anymore. If I feel like doing it, I would, but I don't.
Yeah, I don't do cannabis either.
Neither do I.
There you go. So you got three people not doing cannabis, talking about it being legalized because, well, it should be. You should be free to use whatever medication or drugs you want to use, so long as you deal with the consequences.
I mean, MDMA...
The consequences... Now, when you rob me to get the money for whatever, or you hit me in your car, then I think you should be responsible for your actions, and it doesn't matter to me what drugs you were doing. You're responsible for your actions.
Certainly. And, it's worse than that, because there are these man-made drugs like MDMA, GBT, and all of these others that are party drugs. They're fun drugs. They're recreational drugs. But if made incorrectly, they can be devastatingly lethal in extremely small doses. If you were to be able to send it off to some lab, which you can do now to get it tested or something like that, you mitigate a lot of that a lot of those illegal consequences, but it's still illegal, and you have to run the risk of the FBI or the post office just intercepting what you're trying to get sent tested.
Yeah.
It's only a problem because it's illegal. Otherwise, you could just go down to the store and be like, I want some MDMA tonight, in the same way that you buy alcohol, not worried that it's tainted with arsenic.
But Aria, how are we going to fill the prisons if drugs are legal?
That's a real issue because...
With the drugs that people are going to buy.
The drugs. Right. I mean, they've got this huge prison industrial complex, and if you were to legalize drugs tomorrow, I think, just guessing, you're talking about everybody who's in for drug crimes, which is probably about half the prison population from what we can tell. And then you're talking about everybody who's in prison for committing crimes to get drugs. So the guy who's robbing the liquor store in order to get some crack or whatever, the scenario is. A lot of those people wouldn't be there either. So you're talking about cutting prison population in short order, because obviously you'd have to cycle through those people. The people that are still in for robbing a liquor store aren't going to get out because drugs are legal. So they have to cycle it. But in a generation, you probably would have about a fifth as much crime and therefore a fifth as much, incarceration.
Cut crime by 80%, legalize drugs. There you go.
Yeah, but then, according to these people, you would just have more people on drugs.
Maybe.
Yeah, so what?
Maybe you would have more people on drugs. Maybe you wouldn't. I don't know the answer to that.
I don't see any reason why we would. I don't need the government telling me not to shoot up heroin. If it was legal tomorrow, we'd be like, oh, well, heroin's legal, so I might as well just go out and shoot it in my veins. No.
I tend to think there's this amount of people who say, when it comes to marijuana specifically, are probably doing marijuana that weren't doing it before, but it's not a very large percentage. And and I think that probably goes down when you're talking about things like heroin, which has a pretty bad rap. This is a destructive drug, and it's a poor life choice to say, I'd like to develop a habit to do this.
Well, nobody wants to develop a habit, Well, nobody wants to develop.
When you pick up the cigarette, you kind of know what's going to happen.
I'm not sure that's true. I mean, most of the smokers that I know started when they were like 12 or 13 years old.
12 and 13-year-olds know what a habit is.
I didn't.
My dad smoked every day of my life, and I decided to start smoking.
I think I probably had some peripheral awareness of it, but I didn't realize that, I was 10 years later, I was going to be waking up, and if I didn't have my cigarette immediately, I was going to be wanting to choke someone.
I didn't see that one coming.
I didn't recognize that at that age. I would not have signed on for that if I knew what it was truly going to be like.
That's the problem with childhood.
855-450-3733.
You know who likes being bossed around by a wife, girlfriend, or boss at work? No one. Living a life like that won't make you happy. There's another way to live. You can live a life where you have full financial and sexual freedom and do what you want. I'm Caleb Jones, and my staff and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Go to freelifeinfo.com to download 7 free books and podcasts so you can live a life like this too.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McAlvany ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, hey, who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today. This is...
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait now. Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me?
Because you're scared me.
What
am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISSparis.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, 855-450-3733. Again, that's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom, or use the Discord call-in lines, which you can find at discord.lrn.fm, and join in on the conversation there. Always something being said that's of interest. With you tonight, it's Aria.
Michael.
And Mark.
And we were going to get into this story about how the Orange Man doesn't like Bitcoin. And the Treasury, the Secretary of the Treasury is like, oh, yeah, I don't like Bitcoin either. But, really, that's not news.
Right. The government doesn't like the currency that was created to take that power away from the government.
Yeah. And,
no surprise.
Ducks go quack.
Yeah.
The state doesn't like the thing that was invented to undermine the power of the state.
But if you have thoughts on that, the number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. And, well.
And we would love to know because, to me, cryptocurrency is probably, and I'm not just saying this because cryptocurrency is very kind to me, but it's the way that we establish economic freedom, as I was talking about earlier in regard to the economic means versus the productive means. It's the way that we acquire economic freedom, which is all freedom.
It is absolutely the most exciting thing I've seen in
the Liberty
decades,
movement ever.
In the Liberty movement, as far as obtaining that economic freedom. I went through the 2000s where you had one thing after another get shut down by the government. The Liberty Dollar, the Liberty Reserve. Do you remember that one?
I don't remember Liberty Reserve, no.
That was a... what was he doing? He was...
he was attempting the same sort of thing, essentially, to undermine the power of the government, to provide people with economic stability and economic security that the state couldn't just destroy on a whim.
But they were all based on fiat currencies, and cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and Litecoin Dash, all of Monero, all the ones that have come after it are not based on the state, and the state is having a lot of trouble controlling them. And that's what makes them so. That's what makes them so exciting and something that you really need to look into.
Well, let's go to the phones. We've got Lee calling in from Jackson. Lee, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing great. What's on your mind?
All right. First, I wanted to say this has nothing to do with Orange Man. All right. Listen, if anybody has wanted to do anything for our economy, Trump has been doing everything and anything he can to boost our economy. Cryptocurrency, I understand, is supposed to be a way to skirt the man or whatever, but that is not the case. I mean, really, you're still going to be taxed. It's still going to be the same fiat that you're totally against.
Well, I don't think so.
If you really want to go back to the basics, what you need to do is get into free trade, which is honest to God capitalism, right from the beginning. Yep. And everybody works and pays their own way with what they produce and they can do with.
I'm for that.
Cryptocurrency is manipulated fiat currency.
It's not a fiat currency because the government doesn't say that it isn't made by a fiat, right? Like it's not a.
Well, not yet, no. But
fiat means by decree.
It is controlled by somebody. It is controlled by somebody. It is manipulated.
Well, the markets might be manipulated in so much as like the gold markets and silver markets are manipulated.
I remember just recently a guy had people digging all over Great Britain looking for a computer because there was a hard drive with so many
a bunch on there.
It's the same. It's the same deal.
It's not the same thing. It's not even close. And I'm sorry that you're mistaken on this. But let me explain the difference. When
I get what you're saying.
Well, the important part here is when there was a financial collapse just about a decade ago, the big banks that were too big to fail were given a whole bunch of money by the Federal Reserve. Now, when my business had trouble, well, yeah, I don't care who's doing it, but when my business was in trouble, they didn't send me a check. They only cared about the banks. They didn't send the rest of us that kind of money. You can't do that with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a scarce resource. They cannot make more of it. There's only going to ever be 21 million of them.
Who says?
The program.
The code itself.
You cannot change that.
No, you can change code.
Well, you can change code, but the thing about Bitcoin
but it won't be Bitcoin then.
You have to get everyone to agree to it.
Or at least 51% of them. I mean, we didn't get everyone to agree to it. That's why we have Bitcoin Cash now versus Bitcoin. But these are positive
developments. That's the fallacy in all of this, because if that were the case, then the free market and Wall Street would be way more
Wall Street
easily
is not
manipulated.
the free market.
Well, hey, we're talking about tradable things, right?
Sure.
And okay, so that code can't be changed. This can't be traded. This can't. It can. It can be traded. It can be changed.
It's trade, but it can't be. It's unlikely that you can. They couldn't. They couldn't even get the agreement for a block size change, let alone the amount of to change the amount that's ever going to be produced. I don't think they could do it.
This is the equivalent of attempting to change the chemical composition of silver. That's what changing the code.
Well, that's
means.
Impossible. I mean.
Sure.
So it's the difference between highly unlikely and when I say highly unlikely,
the chemical composition.
Yes, because you are changing.
Code?
You are changing the composition of Bitcoin
totally
in order to do it. It's not at all. You're modifying the composition.
I would almost.
Let me make my point, please,
put
caller.
it on the same par as like our election machines. Oh, that could never be tampered with. It could never be tampered with.
Well, that's ridiculous. We know that the elections can easily be tampered with, and we can show how it can be done. Now, what you're saying is true, right?
Hold on. It's just an algorithm. It's just to be the code.
No, look, you're a person who doesn't know about coding talking about coding. Yes, Bitcoin could be changed.
Believe me, I know
However,
about coding.
then you have not looked taken 1 second to look at Bitcoin. If you know about code and you're claiming that Bitcoin can be changed, you haven't taken one moment to look at Bitcoin. Because it's open source, and the likelihood of the number of bitcoins, the 21 million cap, ever being changed is remote.
And how many times have we already heard about Bitcoin being hacked from numerous?
Bitcoin has never been hacked.
Bitcoin has never been hacked.
It's like
no, there has never been
a hack of
issues with Bitcoins
ever.
being stolen and hacked.
Bitcoins have been stolen in the same way that banks have been robbed, but that doesn't mean that the U.S. dollar doesn't work anymore.
No. I mean, that's the same thing with the U.S. dollar. We've already dealt with for years and years and years. I mean, that's kind of
so because somebody robs a bank, the U.S. dollar doesn't work.
Right. It's we no longer say, well, the U.S. dollar is broken, somebody robbed a bank. It's a fallacy that we would certainly not say. And so with Bitcoin, you can't say Bitcoin's been hacked. The software itself
if
works.
the U.S. dollar can't work and that can get hacked, then obviously Bitcoin is kind of like a fallacy along the way.
All right, man.
Lee, thank you so much for the call.
I was way confused on
It's been years since I had a call like that.
I couldn't do anything but laugh, honestly. It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
I mean, your point is absolutely right. Oh, no, somebody stole some USD out of somebody's wallet. Clearly, USD doesn't work as a currency. It's a fallacy. Everything's a fallacy. It's the fallacy here at Fallacy Talk Live.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. People all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale. Totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Talk about whatever's on your mind. 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria,
Michael,
and Mark.
And as we were about to get into, Orange Man, bad. Orange Men say stupid things. Sometimes about cryptocurrency, sometimes about people in Congress. And evidently, President Trump recently told 4 U.S. Congresswomen of color, according to BBC, to go back to the countries from which they came, and some Americans have been sharing their own experiences.
I think he said go back to where they came from.
Okay.
So, I mean, that could mean just go back to your, get out of Washington, D.C. and go back to your, your little home area or whatever.
So he didn't specify country.
Right.
He just said go back to where you came from.
Right.
Okay.
And I mean, usually when somebody says that, what they mean is go back to your home country, whatever that is.
Right.
I'm so sorry this other minority basically has to hear if you don't like it, you can just go to Somalia.
Right. That was the point that I made on our Facebook page today at facebook.freetalklive.com is that, I'm really sorry for the Democrats that feel so bad for getting told to get the hell out of here when libertarians get told that constantly.
Yeah, it's every day.
If it isn't, well, what about the roads? It's, well, why don't you go to Somalia if you don't like government so much? Well, a failed state that has had its attempts at a government undermined by the United States, the UK, and UN member states repeatedly isn't some libertarian paradise. It's just a failed state, okay? And and all states are in some level of failure.
Absolutely.
That is the nature of being, everything is in a state of deterioration. All states are in a state of failure. So, libertarians, there's nothing special about us. All we want is better governance. And all we understand is that the way that you get the best service is through competition. We're not claiming that there should be no government. We're claiming that government shouldn't be a monopoly. Are you an idiot to say that we need a monopoly to stop monopolies from getting control? I mean,
well, that is what leftists claim. They want to create this super corporation.
Yes.
To prevent corporations from doing the things that corporations do. It's absolute unbridled insanity.
Right. And their claim is they don't have any power over a corporation. And they have the power of influence over corporations. The government
charters all the corporations.
Well, that much is true. But
the government has the guns.
When you speak, when you speak about it, like, you consider your vote to be a value. I mean, you have influence over the government so much as you get to say things, but they still steal your money. No corporation has ever taken your money from you. Only the government can do that.
Certainly not at the point of a gun, at least. And if they do take their money from you, it's because they used the state in order to do it, like with the Affordable Care Act, which was insurance companies robbing the American people. It was done because the state is there, and the state was willing to do it in order to enrich these corporations that you morons want to make part of the state, presumably to make their robbing us even easier. That's the only outcome to this.
Very true.
Welcome to fascism.
So, one BBC reader said that the incident was reminiscent of an experience on a London bus in 1975 when a white woman accusingly said, "You foreigners, why don't you go back to your country?" We were foreign students. We felt petrified. We immediately got off the bus on the next stop. She didn't wish to reveal her name, saying that racism is ugly, ignorant, and hurtful, and unfortunately, it's everywhere.
Okay, so one ruins one's case when one uses the term racism inappropriately. So it is, this isn't racism. This is xenophobia. This is jingoism. This is a variety of things that aren't racism. Racism is the belief that one race, right, this artificially constructed idea, and I say that because
let's call it a social construct.
Yeah, it is
like
a social.
Gender.
It really is a social construct.
It is.
This social construct that is race, and I'm not saying it's not true. Like, you can look at somebody and say, that person. Some people you can look at and say, that's a black guy. You can look at that. That's a white guy.
But it's all a gradient, and where we put those lines is completely and totally arbitrary.
It's true. It's the truth, right? Where the lines are. A good friend of mine is my best friend. I was his best man at his wedding. Is, his dad was black, his mom was white, and he's got wavy hair like a black man. He has skin that's about my tone, and he has freckles on his nose. So, but his nose is wide like a black man's nose, and what is he? I don't know. It's up to you to decide that at any given point. But either way, it's a construct. And when it comes to determining what racism is the belief that one race is superior at a particular act than another. So if you say that the black people are better at basketball, that's racism. If you say white people are smarter than black people, that's racism. If you say Jews are good with money, all right, I would call it an ethnic, overstepping, because I don't really think there's a race, but whatever, you could call that racism.
Sure. I would call it racism.
To say, go back to where you came from is not racism.
It's nationalism.
It's something, right? It's ethnocentrism,
it's the same sort of thing.
Culturalism.
We've created this arbitrary boundary between these various groups, and I want your group to go over there when that group isn't even real. It's a sort of insanity, I would think, a confusion about what reality is and what actually exists and what doesn't. They look at races, they look at nations, they look at all of these things that are just human constructs, just social constructs. And they go, this thing is important. This is what matters. You people, you're interfering with the natural order, not realizing that this natural order is a figment of their imaginations.
Right, and I'm not here defending what Trump said. What I'm saying is that when you immediately jump to throwing down the race card, there are people who are annoyed at the race card, okay? I'm sorry. Not everything is racism, and not everybody you disagree with is Hitler, all right? These are the arguments of children. Stop acting like children if you want to be taken seriously.
I don't know if they can. Shortly after the Trump election.
This is the Trump derangement syndrome, as it's spoken of. And this guy plays these people like fiddles.
He does.
It's amazing.
Just after the 2016 election, I saw a picture of a woman that was trending on Twitter where she had taken her feces and written F Trump on her bathroom counter in her feces.
And poop.
This is a new level of derangement, people.
I saw a tattoo.
This is a grown adult. I mean, tattoos at least understand. This is a grown adult
playing with their poo.
In their poo.
Yes.
Someone got a tattoo that said, Trump is not my blank president, where blank is a very profane word.
That you cannot say on the radio.
Well, he's not mine either. He just says he is.
Well, yeah, I mean, ultimately, that's what the president is a person who claims to be in charge of you.
Right.
Now, for me, Trump provides a level of entertainment.
He is very entertaining.
He's good at that.
This is the wettest we've ever seen. This is the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of the water. That was what he said following one of the hurricanes. I don't remember now which one. I think it was North Carolina.
That is glorious.
Yeah, he's standing there on the White House lawn going, this is the wettest one we've ever seen from the standpoint of the water. What?
More rainfall than any other? I don't know.
We draw huge crowds. I don't have an organ. Elton John, he's got an organ. I don't have one except the mouth and hopefully the brain that's attached to the mouth. That's the instrument. But we don't have instruments.
He says some great things, but what I mean is, I just like to watch the people with the Trump derangement syndrome, and I didn't coin that term. It's just true to watch these people just like seethe, like grind their teeth. They're going crazy, and now that the Democratic nomination process is in full blow, like Facebook. I just can't even take it seriously anymore because I've got plenty of friends who just lost their minds over Trump. By the way, the likelihood of a seated president losing a midterm, or basically not a midterm, but losing an election while the economy is good, it's pretty close to nil. I mean, it's nearly impossible. If there's a third candidate that comes in and appeals to Republican voters, because what they want is they want these liberal candidates. We need, Bernie Sanders in the form of a woman, only younger, or whatever it is that they want. By the way, Warren is my guess for who's going to win this. Or
Biden.
Right. That's not going to win. Sorry.
855-450-3733. Let us know what you think. It's 855-450-FREE as in Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with Reputation Defender. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with Reputation Defender. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771. For your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with Reputation Defender. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Live video of our Keene, New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. If you quick, you can still get in on the lines. The number's 855-450-3733, 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Michael,
and Mark. Want to thank Joe Shull, who is an amplifier. You go to amp.freetalklive.com, and you can do what Joe has done, which is to support Free Talk Live. All we ask for is for $5 a month. We only use the money to advertise, market, and promote Free Talk Live. And as a result, we're on more than 200 radio stations, and we get more than 100,000 downloads per month on our podcast. And that's a pretty nice thing to be able to say. And I want to say thanks to all the amplifiers, including Joe Shull. So thanks, amplifiers. Thanks, Joe Shull. amp.freetalklive.com.
And we've been discussing here various times that the according to the headline, it's Americans were told to go home or go back. But it immediately begins off with people from the United Kingdom rather than people who are Americans. But in a 3-tweet thread on Sunday, Mr. Trump accused the 4 Democratic congresswomen of viciously criticizing him in the United States. Not sure I really see what the problem is with that.
Well,
isn't that, I mean, I realize nobody really likes criticism, but
Trump doesn't take it well.
No, he does not. 3 of them on Friday spoke out about conditions in a migrant detention center they had visited, describing alleged mistreatment happening under American flags. I prefer the term concentration camp, but let's move on. Although the president did not name them, it was clear he was referring to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Tlaib, and Ayanna Pressley, I guess, and then Ilhan Omar, who came...
I'm familiar with that name.
I'm not familiar with most of them.
AOC and Omar, I'm familiar with.
His remarks have sparked condemnation in the U.S. and abroad.
His remarks spark condemnation for everything the guy says.
That is very true. They do not like it when he says a thing.
It's true. Anything. If he opens his mouth, it is unacceptable.
When he takes to Twitter, it's unacceptable.
Takes to Twitter.
So before we get back into what these people have to say about times they experienced that, let's go to the phones. We got David calling from New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, Mark's wrong as usual.
Oh, boy. What'd I do?
I got something else, but I can't resist. Your definition of racism is not even close.
Okay, what's your definition of racism? Because as I understand it, racism is...
I don't have one. I'd probably just look it up in the dictionary, but what you said is not accurate.
The belief that a race is superior to another, one race is superior to another, that's racism.
No, and I want to, that is, but you made some other...
some examples that you didn't like.
You gave some analogies, which are not accurate analogies, but let's do that second. What I want to do first is, speaking of racism, Penn and Teller and Weinstein and Epstein. Oh, Epstein, that's what I'm after. Oh, Dershowitz. I forgot Dershowitz. He's in there, too. But Epstein, let's pick on him. He has a New Mexico connection, right?
I don't know.
His ranch that his ranch that he has out here that he traffics young girls to.
Okay.
And amongst other locations.
I know he's at Palm Beach, I think, too.
Yeah. I just wanted a piece of my work product that I haven't heard anyone else say. I came up with it or occurred to me long ago, and I had the opportunity to share it on George Norrie's program on Coast to Coast. Let me share, and I was going to share it with you guys first, but Ian let my call die on hold that day. The Epstein, where he takes his little girls to have sex with him, the piece of property that he bought out in New Mexico, the 7,000, 10,000 acres, whatever, that he bought from the former governor of New Mexico, Gary King's the son, the attorney general that ran for governor and failed, Bruce King, and there was some confusion whether he bought it from King or from another governor named Tony Anaya.
Then there was he's courted presidents before, so having courted a governor really isn't the worst of his political connections.
Anyway, so he bought this land from the political structure controllers here in New Mexico, one governor, and then there's another governor involved. And then Bill Richardson. He donated to Bill Richardson and Gary King when he was running for governor after his dad had been governor. And coincidentally, all three of those, Bill Richardson, Gary King, and Tony Anaya, I've had interactions with all of them. and Richardson's on my Facebook. But anyway, so he named this ranch the Zorro Ranch, and nobody yet has, besides myself, that I can tell, has noted the Zorro Ranch. Zorro film, Errol Flynn, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. What did Errol Flynn like to do in his off time?
I don't know.
I don't know. He was slightly before my time.
He liked to diddle little girls.
Is that so? Didn't know.
Along with
why would
L. Ron Hubbard.
Why would we know this?
All right.
Why would you know this?
Yeah. I mean, you asked it like it was going to be common knowledge or something like that.
Well, it is common knowledge. You're just too young, little boy. Everybody knows that Errol Flynn diddled little girls along with L. Ron Hubbard. Anyway, the point is...
I'm sitting here with two people who are older than me, neither of whom seem to be aware of that.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's common enough that ask around, people will know. Anyway, he named this ranch the Zorro Ranch.
Yep.
And where do you come up with Zorro? You know, it just happens to be a coincidence that if you ask anybody who knows the name Zorro, the first thing that comes to mind in the greatest number of people is Errol Flynn.
Yeah, for me it was Fox.
Flynn liked to diddle little girls, just like Jeffrey Epstein likes to diddle little girls. And so I'm suggesting that Epstein
that might be the reason.
The ranch that.
I think that's a reasonable stance.
I would agree. I mean, he named his jet the Lolita Express, and Lolita was about an older man.
It's a literary reference, yeah.
Yeah.
And a younger one, yeah.
So I guess that I'm going to assume that's true about Errol Flynn. And I mean, of course, I mean, he drew...
Doesn't surprise me. So the thing about that... Let's not act like this is entirely weird, all right? The reason...
Thanks for the call, David.
Yeah, thanks for the call. The reason that people are so upset with Epstein is because it's socially unacceptable for a man, to be associated with, a woman so much younger than him or whatever. But, I mean, throughout most of human history... We called this what it was. These 14, 15, 16-year-old women, we called them what they were. Biological adults. They were adults. They were treated like adults because they were adults. Now, sure, things have changed, and certainly preferences and that kind of thing. I'm not saying that what he did was delightful by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just saying that, hey, this is kind of normal stuff. As far as from a human sexual standpoint.
I mean, generally speaking, a girl is going to look about the same at 18 as she did at 16.
Yeah, I'd say that's accurate. Sure.
You're not going to notice. She's not going to suddenly mature and you're like, oh, okay, well, now I'm sexually attracted to her. No, and you're lying to yourself and to everyone else if you say, oh, this girl, she's so hot at 18, but 2 years ago when she was 16, no, I had no attraction to her whatsoever. You're lying to yourself at minimum.
Right. Obviously, you have the attraction. This is part of why I think he's a sicko, though, is because if he wanted to do what he did, he could have done it with 18-year-olds. He didn't have to have 14, 15, 16-year-olds or whatever. He didn't have to have that. He could have had all the 18-year-olds he could consume.
Or in most cases, 16-year-olds.
Depending on the state you're in, yeah.
That's what I meant to say, and in most states.
Yeah.
Or maybe not most. I don't have any idea what the numbers are, but in some states.
In some states, all he had to do is live in a state, and I think that Florida would be one of those states. I'm not 100% sure. I can tell you that there was a time in my life when I had a girlfriend, and we were physical in Florida, and that we went from being legal, the act that we were doing went from being legal to illegal to legal again over the course of 6 months, because she was 15 when I was 16. I turned 17, and then she turned 16.
Oh yeah, it's a 2-age limit or something like that if both parties are under the age of consent. Yeah. I don't know. It's totally asinine, and that's not to say I condone it or I approve of it or anything like that. But it's a weird hill for people to plant their flags on. And then to lie to themselves and insist that, no, there's no sexual attraction whatsoever to a 16-year-old girl. They have to be at least 18 before I suddenly get excited. It's nonsense. Whether or not you're willing to act on that is a very different thing, or to pursue it, or to
Sure, this is what self-control is.
Right.
Right, and that much is obvious. You have self-control in all the other parts of your day. Why wouldn't you have self-control there? I think the dude's, a sicko. I also think he's very interesting and has lots of information. So I don't know. I'm curious as to what justice is going to look like with Mr. Epstein.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow, every single night, 7 nights a week. Go over to freetalklive.com. Listen to the show archives going back almost 10 years. Again, that's freetalklive.com.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat